welcome to another episode of HPCrtiical, a podcast where my friends and I talk all things gaming. I'm your host, Joelle, and I am joined by Kelly.
Hi, everybody!
Gabe.
Heyo!
Brandon.
Hey, everyone!
And our special guest for this evening, Sterling.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm very excited to have you here.
Yeah.
How are you? Before we go into conversation, how are you?
You guys are the first people I've seen in probably about 2 months, so yeah. I did my eyebrows for this. That's how excited I was.
Oh my god, I love it! And I didn't do mine. I should have done mine. Now I'm embarrassed. So can you tell people a little bit about who you are and where you write and what you do?
I'm technically a freelancer, but I do most of my writing for Twinfinite. I do mostly just features, top 10s, stuff like that. And I run my own podcast called Memory Card Memoirs. That's all about people's love and history for video games, and they come on and tell stories. And actually, tomorrow, I'm launching a secret project that I've had in the works for a while, so...
Yo.
I will say I'm very jealous because when I read your name for your podcast, Memory Card Memoirs, I was like, that's brilliant. That's so
whoa.
good. I saw it on Twitter and I was like, oh my god, that's so good. I'm so jealous that I didn't think of that. It's fucking great.
When I thought of it, I literally had an epiphany. I saw the whole simulation.
I love it. I love it.
If you've ever seen Full Metal Alchemist, when they learn the truth and shit, and
yes,
yeah, that's what I felt like.
Dang,
that's
the
awesome.
Moment that you haven't finished Full Metal Alchemist because you got bored because you hate the main character. What's his name? The really annoying kid?
Yo, roast him, Sterling. Roast him right now.
I will show you my Full Metal Alchemist tattoo right now.
Oh,
Edward,
my wife has a Full Metal Alchemist tattoo. That doesn't make me like them anymore. What? The blonde kid is so fucking annoying. Okay, so I'm sorry. I'm not going to go into the conversation.
I gotta go.
Sorry, girl. We'll see you later. We're going to go to our own podcast.
Challenge.
Am I the only person that doesn't like Full Metal Alchemist? I love the
Yeah.
Yes.
I love the
you are the only one. Legit. You are legit the only person I know that doesn't that has seen it and dislikes it.
Oh my god, I like Al. Al is the best.
You guys
Al is the best.
Al is the best.
You want to come do an emergency episode
Yes,
of
he
my
is.
podcast?
No.
I like. Is it? Wait, he's the younger one, right?
He's
Yes.
the younger brother.
And the suit, yeah.
He's
I
not
love
the
him.
best. If I had to rank Al in terms of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood characters, I don't think he would make it to my top 5.
He's like such a sweetheart.
But would he make it in your top 10?
There's only 10. Just kidding.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. There's not that many
Okay.
central
Who's number
characters.
one?
Hey,
in
that's
it.
fine. As long as you're in your top 10, I'm chill. I'm chill.
So
To answer your question, Sterling, my number 1 is Roy Mustang.
Okay, that's
Okay.
a solid choice, though.
Okay.
is he
That's a
the?
solid choice.
Never mind.
He's
I
the
don't
fire
care.
alchemist.
It's fine. I don't actually care. So
You know what, man?
there's and before the podcast, I did tell Sterling that I was going to call him out for something that he wrote on Twinfinite, and he has this article called, and I quote, 5 video game heroes that were actually kind of jerks. And
Okay.
I read the article and I thought, I agree with most of them, right? So Joel Miller, I hate him, so it's fine. He's completely a jerk.
Agreed.
His number 4 though was actually Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII. I am a huge
Okay.
Final Fantasy VII fan, and I completely remember playing through. I'm sorry. Before I finish this, have you played the original Final Fantasy VII, Sterling?
No.
Oh, so we're making top 5 lists on what? Just based on the remake? This was your conversation for him based on the remake?
Yes.
So you have it, and I'm going to quote you here. Whereas party members are fighting to save the planet and the people they love, Cloud often says he doesn't care, that he's just there to get paid. There are plenty of times in Final Fantasy VII remake where Wedge looks to Cloud for approval or even just a comment, and Cloud begrudgingly ignores him, making Wedge feel like a pest. 2 things. 1, Wedge is annoying as fuck. 2, it's not Cloud's fault that he is upset that he did not get paid. If you did a shit ton of work for these people, then they tell you they're gonna pay you the next day, you wake up the next day, and then they tell you, hey, you gotta work more for the money that you didn't get paid the first time, I'm sure you'd be a little pissed off too. Would you not, Sterling?
They legit didn't pay this man.
Oh no,
though.
I think he got disconnected. He did.
Oh, no.
He said, you know what? You fucking calling me out. I'm leaving.
I'm not gonna answer to this bullcrap.
I don't know
I'm
what just
leaving
happened.
now.
I'm sorry. Were you in the middle of breaking it down and I was just fucking out.
Yeah, you dipped
We
out.
thought, oh my god, Jarrell offended him, and now he will forever.
You also say, and I quote, even during the odd time someone throws Cloud a compliment, he usually brushes it off and acts apathetic towards said person. He's a fucking soldier, bro. Like, this has been his life for a very long time, and as you progress, you do see that his personality does soften and it does change, and you put him in a category with, like, oh my god, everybody's just, like, dipping in and out.
I don't know, my Discord doesn't show the video anymore.
You put him in a category with Kratos and Joel Miller, Cloud. He's the nicest person in that group. Can you explain yourself?
What?
Wait, can I hear the title of the article one more time?
He's the nicest person in that group. Yes, the title of the
The
article
nicest
is...
in the group?
He 100% is.
Wait, of Avalanche or the party?
Of his
Hey,
article. His
people
article is
of the
five-
article.
Thank you, Kelly.
Okay,
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. Okay. I'm
5
sorry.
video game heroes that were actually kind of jerks.
Why do you hate Joel so much?
Have you played The Last of Us 2?
Yeah, he kills people?
I'm
He's
sorry,
a huge
did you play
dick?
The Last of Us 1?
Yes!
You know what? I hate Ellie. I don't even hate Joel that much. I hate Ellie. Joel's just annoying as fuck because he's annoying. But I like Joel. I hate Ellie, so I take that back. And you know who's nicer than Joel? Cloud.
But you hate them because they're super flawed and they make terrible, terrible choices, right? Joel, like, murders and tortures people and shit, right?
Yeah.
Cloud kills tons of people!
That's because they deserve to
Cloud-
die. I'm not mad at Joel for
They're
killing
just
people.
trying to make a paycheck.
I'm not mad at Joel for killing people. I'm not. I'm upset with Ellie because she's a dumbass who ruins her own life. Like, that's her own fault. But I'm not mad at Joel for killing people. I just think he can be a little bit of a dick. And I agree with him being on your list. Cloud is not...
What about
very
Cloud?
much of a
Cloud can't be a little
Cloud's a
bit of a
fucking
dick.
Cloud can be a little bit of a dick
He's a
sometimes.
jerk. I agree, to be
Did you
honest.
skip the entire
Like,
first 5 hours of the,
When is
of
he
the
a jerk?
remake?
What do you mean when he's a jerk? Literally, he got,
Okay,
like...
first of all, if you don't get paid for a job, I feel like you have the
No,
right
no,
to be a
that's
little...
fine.
Hold on.
Every
He was a jerk
comment that
even
he-
before,
That's the point I
before they
made.
didn't pay him. He was a jerk even before. And you know what? While you guys continue this, I'm gonna jump into the videos I have saved at the beginning of the game and show you where he's an asshole. I deleted it, didn't I?
Good.
Oh, no, I did it. No, I did it. I did it. Actually, it was in a separate folder. So, I'm gonna go ahead and
There
mute my...
are moments in the game where Cloud opens up and expresses himself, and it really becomes a very touching situation when you see that he kind of eases off of being the big badass that everyone expects him to be, being the returning soldier. And instead, he just gets cast as one of the 5 most... I'm sorry, don't want to misquote you. One of the 5 video game heroes that were actually...
You don't want to misquote me, but you just want to shave
He-
me live in
Like,
4K?
I just say that I disagree with you. I don't think
But,
Cloud is
like,
necessarily
he
a
literally
jerk.
even phrased it, like, that are actually kind of jerks. He didn't even say, like, you know, they're super the worst people ever in existence. He's just like, they're kind of jerks. Like, I think I could say that about anybody on this podcast.
Cloud is a
Barrett,
good,
like-
upstanding man, but sometimes he can be kind of a jerk.
So you guys
Barrett
That's
Paul
part of
is
his
hard
personality.
to Cloud.
I
And he's
love
like,
Cloud.
dude,
I think he's
Cloud
a
is
good
a
guy.
blonde Sasuke. Let me add that too. And I'm not wrong about that.
Just because
whatsoever.
you're hot doesn't mean that you can be a jerk.
Oh my
Barrett goes on about how the planet is dying. Cloud's like, dude, get help. Like, what is wrong?
Okay,
Like,
but
dude!
that's because Barrett was being a little extra at that moment. Like, bruh, if you can hear the planet right now, you need to get some help, bruh. Calm down. Like,
I like
this is a little
Barrett
much.
at that moment a lot more than Cloud, though.
This is a little
Because, like,
much.
he was passionate. He was giving a speech like he was a pastor at a church.
Bruh,
And he was like,
you're
Get
yelling
you-
at me.
calling
in
out
an
of
elevator with a stranger yelling at me who has not paid me yet for a job that could kill me. I feel like, yeah,
All
Wait,
right.
really? Okay,
Hold on.
looking at
Hold
Barrett,
on. You just used Barrett's thing of
Passion?
connection with the earth as, you know, pleading for people to be with you as an excuse for him going all crazy, but then you used it as a counter argument for Cloud being like, what the hell is wrong with this guy?
Gabe, I can do what I want. It's my podcast.
That's not how that
Listen.
works. Okay, alright, I need to remake that meme now. Hold on.
So
I'll be
speaking
back.
of, I'm moving on now. Speaking of The Last of Us, I had to do it. I'm sorry, Sterling. I actually really liked your article. I just had to call you out for a second. Gotta welcome you to the podcast. So
and I'm out.
speaking of The Last of Us, I'm sure that you guys have heard. The Last of Us 2 co-writer Haley Gross has outlined apparently what they have as the part 3 of a storyline outline for The Last of Us. Wow, I said that really weird. This article is from IGN.com. I'm going to read a little bit of it to you guys and then ask your opinion on whether you think The Last of Us needs a third part. This is by Joe Screbbles. I hope I said that right. And it says, Naughty Dog has written a story outline for The Last of Us Part 3, but isn't making the sequel right now. Creative director Neil Druckmann says he hopes it can one day see the light of day. Speaking on an episode of the Script Apart podcast about the writing of The Last of Us Part 2, Druckmann touched briefly on the possibility of a sequel, and this is the quote: "I don't know how much I want to reveal, and I did write an outline for a story that we're not making, but I hope one day can see the light of day that explores a little bit what happens after the game. We'll see." Now, we were just talking about The Last of Us a little bit. I've already expressed how much I dislike Ellie. And Brandon and I, and Wesley, who is also on the show, we talked about what we'd like to see in a third version or a sequel of The Last of Us in our Last of Us spoiler cast, so definitely check that out. Knowing that they're supposedly making a remake of the original Last of Us, which apparently nobody wanted, which I'll go into after this, how do you guys feel about knowing that there's a third story out there for The Last of Us? Like, do you think that the game has, for those of you who've played it, do you think that the game had a good finish? Do you think that there's more of a story to tell? Where would you like to see it go?
Yeah, so the fact that they're making a third one planning to, doesn't surprise me in the slightest, especially since, part 2 came out as it did. I would argue that when the original Last of Us came out, that one didn't need, like, a sequel necessarily in terms of its story. Like, I felt like if they were to do another Last of Us game, which, I was hoping for because I really like that gameplay, that it would have different characters. So when I did find out that Ellie, in particular, was like front and center of this game, was like, oh, it's another story with Ellie. I don't know about that. But then the game came out, and while I didn't like the story as much as the original story, I think it justified its existence, in my opinion, because the first one was a story about Joel and Ellie, like, both coming from completely different points in life, and like them coming together. It was a nice story about their road trip around America, and then becoming, like, like a father and daughter relationship. Whereas Last of Us Part 2 was just a straight up tale of revenge, which is a very different direction from the first one. So if they were to do a Part 3, like, I would like to see another different direction. There's no shortage of ideas with that. It could be about Ellie again, or it could be about other characters. I don't know. But I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility they could do a third one for sure. I think there's room for another story, especially with the way the second one ended. Now, they can take their time, though, because, like, Last of Us Part 2, like, just came out last year. And, like, by the time Last of Us Part 2 came out, I was ready for another one. I wasn't ready for a few years after the first one came out. Like, I felt I was good. So by the time the sequel actually did come out, I was ready. And I'm hoping it's a few years before Part 3 comes out as well. Especially since they're doing that remake as well. So, yeah, we shall see.
What if the third one just focused on Abby? How would you feel about that?
I think that'd be a good move, because there's more that can be done with Abby's character for sure. And they could go, and with her they could go any kind of different directions. Won't go into too much details because it'd be spoilers. But yeah, either be fine with me if they did either or both or neither. I'd be fine.
I love Abby, but
I do as well.
I think the way it ended is I think it's good. I don't think we need to see anything else from her or Ellie.
Yeah, but I mean, I felt the same about the first one, and the second one I still enjoyed. Not as much as the first, but I was still fine with it.
I think it speaks to something that when the first game ends, and you're like, damn, okay, that's it. Like, I am good. But then the second part comes out, and you're like, okay, this feels very justified. Like, you know what I mean? I think it did a great justice.
I mean, okay. I have differing opinions. I did not feel that The Last of Us 2 was necessary at all. I say that while also thinking that the game was really good. Don't get me wrong. I think it was a really good game. I think the storytelling was very interesting. I think, Naughty Dog and Neil Druckmann did some amazing things with The Last of Us 2. I think the sound design is still, like, one of the best I've ever heard in a video game. Yeah, I also still thought this was completely unnecessary. But that was just me, because I didn't really care for the story. But there's a game that doesn't have a story that's coming out tomorrow as of the recording of this podcast, and that is new Pokemon Snap. Are any of you guys getting new Pokemon Snap?
Oh, yes, I
Fuck
100%
no.
am. I'm getting that delivered. We're going to be doing a launch stream of it tomorrow night with Christy. It's going to be great. We're going to look at all the Pokemon, take amazing pictures. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Gabe, why are you so negative about Pokemon Snap?
I generally feel like I'm one of the few people, like, this isn't even like a Nintendo, like, this isn't even like my hatred for Pokemon getting their anniversary shit. This is just like one of those things where, like, I think I'm one of the few people who generally just doesn't like any Pokemon, like, side game. I've, like, the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon,
I don't think you're one of the
Coliseum.
few, actually. I know a lot of people who only like the core games, like a lot of people.
Well,
because
I'm with those people.
Yeah, and it's you know what? I'm not even gonna like say that's a bad thing. It's understandable because Pokemon, those core games were built on a certain gameplay. You know, the catching Pokemon, battling, trainers, breeding, all that good stuff. And if that's what you care about, yeah, more power to you. Go ahead.
My other thing is though, like, and like, I know Jarrell's gonna eat me for this, but like, the fact that this is a side game that looks 1,000 times better than its last core game,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
Like, if the, and then let me add like as a kind of a cushion to that, we're getting, you know, the black and white remakes, and they went with the chibi art style for that. But then they showed Pokemon Legends. Is that what it's called? I can't remember the name anymore.
Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Legends, and then they showed that, and like they kind of showed like, you know, obviously it was nowhere near a final build, but it does look better than Pokemon Sword and Shield, and it does look like they kind of took a little bit from the Pokemon Snap type graphics and implemented that. But like, I don't know. Like, Jarrell's always talking about like, oh, The Legend of Zelda, it's 2017, and you're using, and you're not using the tools, you know, given to you to make to make Breath of the Wild even more beautiful. I'm sorry, it took Pokemon until 2021 to get anywhere near that. So. But yeah, I'm
actually not
Pokemon
going
Snap.
to entertain that conversation at all.
Yeah, because yeah, whatever. Go ahead.
Because I don't want to argue with you. Sterling, do you care about Pokemon at all?
I'm kind of the same opinion.
Oh my god!
I'm not gonna get Pokemon Snap because I never played the original.
Okay.
And it doesn't interest me. I'm like super stoked that people who played that back in the day get to have that experience and get that sequel after like 22 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
But I do agree. I think there's very obvious reasons for it, but it feels a little strange that this game looks a lot better than the mainline games. That's all I'm gonna say. It is. It's an on-rails picture-taking game compared to like an open-world Pokemon game, kinda. But
I like our guest today. This is fun.
For clarity's sake, the people that are making new Pokemon Snap, Bandai Namco, they were specifically the developers behind Pokken, which also looked really good as a game. And again, it's like Sterling just said, because it's an on rails picture game. It's easier to make that game look like really good and really crisp. With a Pokken, it was similar because like you had like I don't remember the full number of characters that was in Pokken. I think it was like somewhere around 18 characters, something like that. So you basically focused like on 18 characters, made them look good and crisp. It's a lot easier to do that compared to the 700 plus of the main game. So I do want to give Game Freak some credit. I'm just saying like what Game is really saying are right. It looks better because there's less Pokemon to put in there.
And it's not open world. The only thing I will say on this is that the review scores have come out, and they are all very, very good. It's sitting at an 83 on Metacritic, so I don't give a shit what anybody else
I mean,
thinks.
yeah, it's a Pokemon game.
Pokemon! It's gonna be great. I'm getting it tomorrow. I did not play the original, actually, and I to actually surprise everybody, I didn't think I was gonna get Pokemon Snap, because I had never played the original, and I thought I don't want to ride on rails taking pictures. But I guess I'll see tomorrow. And I'm going to move on because I'm not going to jump into the Pokemon looks better than Breath of the Wild conversation.
Also, you could just go ahead and download Pokemon Go if you wanted to play Pokemon Snap. Sorry, I had to throw that insult in there.
It's super not the same.
I had to.
You had to, but it's not true.
Jarrell, what did you just say? Did you say that somebody thinks Pokemon looks better than Breath of the Wild?
No,
yes, he thinks Pokemon is prettier than Breath of the Wild. No, don't even try and sugarcoat anything.
What I actually said was, have you guys seen the PS Plus May games that are coming out? That's what I
I've
actually
seen
said.
those, and those
No, I'm letting him get that
those are
segue
nice.
going. That was great. Yes, I have seen the PS Plus in May, Jarrell. I have.
So, PS5 is getting Wreckfest. PS4 is getting Battlefield 5, which obviously you can also play on, I think you can play on PS5, right? You can play all the PS4 games on PS5, correct? Yes.
Yeah.
Correct, except for like 8 of them.
And then Stranded Deep is also coming to PS4. So I know we talked before about the games that do come to PS Plus and how I personally think that they've been pretty good. How do you guys feel about this month?
Battlefield 5 looks cool. I don't know the other two games.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if anybody knew about that Wreckfest game. But Battlefields are always they're always fun games. So to have a cool big game like that, that's awesome. Stranded Deep looks. I'm just going off the picture. It looks like I don't know. It looks like you're gonna be on a boat trying to fend off sea monsters.
I actually have that on my Steam wish list, but I can't for the life of me think of what it is right now, to be honest.
You know, it's so funny. When I saw the list and I saw that you guys were talking about Battlefield 5, I was like, I bet that Kelly has at least 2 of these games on Steam. Was that? Do you have
at least 2?
No, I don't.
Damn,
I have.
I was wrong.
The last Battlefield game I played was 1, which was so good, but it's just Battlefront with a different skin on it. I don't know. It's just Battlefront.
I guess Nice made them, right?
Yeah. So whatever. I think I'll probably get it for free. I think my PS Plus lapsed though, because I just
because you just
I play on my
PC all the time. Which is why I love having you here. You know what? Actually, Sterling, I didn't ask. What is your most played console?
Well, it's kind of unfair, right? Because I've had my PS4 for a lot longer than my Switch, but I'd probably play my Switch the most out of the 2.
Do you play on Xbox? Do you use Game Pass at all?
I have an Xbox and I have Game Pass, but I don't use it all that often.
Why not?
Oh man, this is like...
Sorry.
I feel like I'm being judged already.
No. I'm just curious because we've had this conversation on the podcast before as well, because I think that Xbox Game Pass is a really great value, but I had it for a while and I just never played it because either I had the games on Switch or I had the games on PS4 or I already owned it or I got it on sale somewhere else or it just was something that I wasn't interested in. So I haven't used Game Pass in a while, but recently with the release of what is that game?
Outriders.
Thank you, Kelly. With the release of Outriders, I was like, well, I can play this game for free. And then they had Octopath Traveler, and they had some other titles that started to finally interest me. So now I have Game Pass again. But that's why I asked, because I was kind of in the same boat as you. So do you know what it is that, like, why you have Game Pass and you aren't using it? Is it the same thing or what?
Game Pass is just such a good thing to have, even if you don't, like, it's something you tuck away if, like, you know what I mean? And I'm saying that, like, I shouldn't be doing it. I shouldn't be tucking it away.
Okay, yeah, no. Yes.
But I think I'm on the crescendo of your thinking of, like, I'm probably going to start using it a lot more. My issue is that I'm a big old physical boy. Like,
Same.
Physical, like, I can't do digital, so it hurts my soul.
No, I'm the same way. I prefer physical copies. So does that mean that you've just been paying Microsoft $15 a month for X amount of time?
No.
Okay. That's why you don't have it just sitting in your pocket. That's such a waste. What?
I just feel guilty now. Can we move on?
I'm sorry. No, you shouldn't feel guilty. So speaking of physical copies and GameStop, I'm sorry. I don't want you to feel guilty. You're just giving the big Microsoft corporation all your money.
Well, let's talk about giving another corporation money with GameStop.
That's exactly
Look at this man.
Segue. So they just made $500 million thanks to that wonderful Reddit drama, which I'm sure we all know about, which is, you know, the whole stock exchange situation where the shares went up for, you know, X amount of money, etc. And then I think last week we talked about how the CEO got a very nice severance package because of how much GameStop was worth. $500 million. Did you guys in any lifetime assume that GameStop would be in this situation, seeing as they had been down in the dumps for so long? And also, does this give you any type of, like, feeling? How do you feel about knowing that GameStop is now made $500 million?
The only thing that I thought GameStop would, like, be, like, anywhere near $500 million would be, like, in the red. Like, negative $500 million.
Oh my God. Damn.
But, like, I don't know. I guess I wasn't expecting that, but at the same time, like, if they give you $5 on a $50 game, I mean, that's, you know,
Yeah.
that's where all
Money's
the money's
coming
coming from. I don't even know, like, GameStop, I never really thought of them as, like, bad or good. It's just, like, there, it exists. Is it a good business model? Kind of. Do I shop there? No. I used to a lot, actually, but now I just don't. I don't go anywhere.
A lot of people a lot of our colleagues in our industry have worked at GameStop, right? And all you hear is horror stories, like absolute terrible, like exploitive, like. But then you go there, like I go to my local GameStop and I'm like, I like these people. I like going here. They're nice. They know me. And then you just hear all this garbage and you hear about the CEO and you try to trade a game in and they give you 2 cents and you're like, man, fuck this.
I really don't feel like it is as bad. I think that there are times where you can trade in games and get a decent amount of value.
Getting 2 cents is better than getting no cents.
And
you know, but it's still like, they're selling it for like $2 off.
Yeah, exactly.
Of the original price. It's like crazy.
But I mean, you know, Apple does the same thing. Have you tried trading in an old iPad or iPhone that you spent $1,000 on and they're like, oh yeah, we'll give you $200 and then they resell it for like $800? It's essentially the same thing, but nobody
that kind of makes that makes more sense though than buying a game on its release day. Then going to trade it in the very next day, and then
That's
you go
not
from.
How that works. You still, I think you have. If you haven't opened it, you can get a full refund.
Okay, well, let's.
He's talking about
going down the pathway
selling it back.
Yeah. You go and you paid $60, $65 for that game, and you go to return it, and you get $12 for it. That's bullshit.
And they sell it for $58.
Yeah, and then they sell it for $58 again.
So what would you prefer?
I don't know. Don't
You
cheap
prefer
out on
to come
fucking
to Canada
trains.
where new games are $90.
Oh my gosh, you're from Canada? I love Sterling!
Oh my god!
Why? What?
I don't know. Just Canadians make me happy.
Okay. Shout out to Canadians then.
You need the Canadians, bro.
Maple syrup, sponsor us.
I'm so yeah.
Maple syrup ain't a company; it's a thing.
I'm just saying.
Everyone that sells maple syrup sponsor us. The money.
The money. So yeah, what ended up happening with this situation is that they sold their 3.5 million shares to be able to make this money, and they have plans to turn this around. This is from GameStop.com, written by Eddie Sorry, Eddie. So it says here, GameStop has big plans to turn things around, and this buyback could help give the company the cash it needs to execute on its strategy. The retailer recently hired a growth officer whose job it will be to oversee GameStop's transition. GameStop has also just hired new brand development and merchandising executives to help with this move. And I think you've all seen their whole, like, we want to transform this into like a game hangout type thing instead of just like a store. You know, hiring all these people, I think it's a step in the right direction, and I do hope that GameStop is able to come back from this, because I always defend them, because there's literally nothing else like GameStop. There used to be a service that I used a while ago where you would like trade games with people, so like and like you would get coins, not actual money, and I don't remember what it was, but like when I finished a game I could sell my game for like coins on the website, and then I could buy someone else's, and then all I'm paying is like $2 to $4 to ship my you know, good nicely handled, in good condition disc out to like Brandon, and then I'm gonna buy one from Kelly, and then like she would just send hers to me, and it was a wonderful way to just like trade games with people and not lose value. But I don't know what website that was. I did it a long time ago. I don't do it anymore. If I don't like a game and I want to sell it back, or I want to trade it in, my options are very limited. Like, what can I do? go to GameStop. Like, I don't know what else
Yeah.
I could do aside from go to GameStop or, give it to a friend, I guess. I have no idea. Does anyone else know any other thing that you can do? Am I missing something? Is GameStop the only way?
Sell it on eBay.
I could sell it on eBay. I don't have an eBay account.
Well, you're missing out. I buy a lot of cheap shit off eBay.
Clearly I'm missing out. So speaking of things that are skyrocketing, get it? Because
Wow.
the money is skyrocketing at GameStop.
Yeah.
I am so good at this, I promise. So speaking of things that are skyrocketing, Titanfall 2, its player count has apparently suddenly hit a huge new high. This is over from IGN.com, written by Logan Plant, and it says Titanfall 2 is seeing a huge resurgence on Steam with more active players than when the game launched on the platform. The player base has skyrocketed 650% in just 2 days. It has more players now than when it originally came to Steam last year, 4 years after the game's original release. First, 2 questions. One, have you guys ever played a game that had this type of resurgence where, like, nobody played it, nobody liked it, and then, like, years later it comes back? Obviously, I'm thinking of stuff like Nier, Replicant, where it got really bad or average reviews, and now everyone's, like, loving the fuck out of the game. So first, is there a game that you've been a part of that has been not great, that you played before, and then you've seen people, come to it as a resurgence?
Well, hold on. Are we talking about games that like weren't great and then like became great later, or is it like games that just didn't sell? Because Titanfall 2 from the jump was always a good game. It's just now more people are playing it.
Both, actually. It can be either or, because you're right. Titanfall 2 was a great game that I actually played and I really enjoyed it.
As did I. That campaign mode is stellar.
So yeah,
yeah, Battlefront 2.
Battlefront 2 is another good example because that game
No
was
Man's Sky.
trash from the jump, and now it's really good.
Kelly, are you concurrently playing No Man's Sky?
No, but I picked it up as it's gone on throughout some of the updates. It still was trash to me, but a lot of people have said it got better. I guess I wanted to just like play it anew again because it's on Game Pass. So I was like waiting to like download it and just start fresh because I originally played it on PlayStation 4. But I haven't done that because what time?
I completely understand.
What time?
Mm.
And I'm playing Resident Evil 7, so I don't,
Yo, for anyone who is not following her on Twitch, do it, because she has scare alerts on right now, and she's playing through Resident Evil 7, and it makes me feel better about when I played through and I had to quit because I'm a little bitch. I get to watch Kelly just scream, and I feel better about the fact that I couldn't finish the game because she's also scared, and she plays scary games all the time, so I feel less bad about me sucking at scary games when I see Kelly's clips. So thank you, Kelly, for making me feel better.
Yeah. Thank you.
Just as a little backtrack, like I said, I'm from Canada and I grew up in a really small town. So when I first played Final Fantasy 13 and loved it, and the only thing I saw was like people absolutely hating it at the time.
And there's another good one, yeah.
And then nowadays it's like anything I see on Twitter about it really is like people loving it, and it's like, this feels so good.
That's such a perfect example. I also loved Final Fantasy 13.
Yes.
And the only person that I knew that loved it as much as me was Grayson. And so we would talk about that game for like a long time, and no one else had played it. And then it came to Xbox, and then people started playing it like more, and it got that like visual update on Xbox, random as fuck. And I was like, yes, and now more people are playing it. People are asking for, a remaster of it. But that game is so good, and I love that you love it, Sterling. I take back everything negative that I've ever said about any article about Cloud or anything ever, because that game is so good and it tackles so many issues. I think that lots of Final Fantasy games kind of steer clear of because they're more, kind of sometimes on the fantasy side or something. That was just so real and so good. I'm sorry, Brandon, go ahead.
I thought of 2 games, actually. The first one, actually, there's 3. No, the first one, the one that I was going to say in the beginning, was I've always been a fan of The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker, but that game got trashed when that game originally first came out, and Gabe still doesn't like it because he can't let go of it. No. Yeah, I go ahead, but tell him.
I like the game, but yes. I'm part of the. I'll admit, when that game first came out, I was like, what the fuck, Nintendo? You take this back now. It was just such a different, like, at least for me, the reason I liked the game, it was such a different art style. And then, like, there was that whole sailing around the ocean thing. And I'm like, this is so not Zelda, like. And then, you know, you get older. And actually, I got, the reason I started playing it again was because a couple of years after its release, I was in a theater camp. And,
How cute.
yeah. And I was talking with one of my counselors. We were talking about The Legend of Zelda. I don't remember how we came up with the topic. And he was like, "Oh yeah, dude, The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker is so good." I was like, "That game sucks." He was like, "No." And you know, I get when you say bad things about The Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
You want to know where I got that from? I got that from Mr. G, who was the counselor. He was like, "No, shut up. Listen to this." And like, he broke everything down. And like, every time I tried saying something about it, he gave me like a reasonable counter argument. And I was like, dude, I just want to hate the game in peace. Like, can you let me? He goes, "No, go back and play it." And you know what? At the end of that summer, the last day of the camp, like, "Hey, Mr. G, so I just finished Wind Waker, and I'm sorry, it's a really good game." So that's my Wind Waker story.
That's a really good story. Yeah, shout out to Mr. G, man. He sounded like a real one. But yeah, for me, yeah, I've always liked Wind Waker, and it's just interesting to see how so many people have come around on it since then and are asking for desperately to come on Switch, because it's now been on two systems that didn't sell well, the GameCube and the Wii U. So that game needs a chance to survive on the Switch where it can actually sell numbers. Damn it! Anyway, that was the first example. The other two is Tropical Freeze and Super Mario 3D World. People didn't like Tropical Freeze when that first came out because Retro Studios made that game, and they wanted Retro Studios to make something else. They did not want to make another Donkey Kong game, so no one played Tropical Freeze. Comes out on Switch. It's now, I see so many people saying it's like the best 2D platform that was ever made in existence. Which, boy, that's a different narrative than when it first came out. And 3D World, same thing, came out at the wrong time. When it originally came out on Wii U, people were looking for the next Galaxy or the next Sunshine. So when they saw this like 4-player Mario game that
Mario?
Yes.
Okay.
People initially did not like that game. Yeah, because it just wasn't what they wanted. It was more.
Like cats?
It's gorgeous, and we finally played it together because, you know, it had the online play, so we could, and it was great. But yeah, the narrative is now different because now it's on Switch, much better selling console. Odyssey's out, so people have their core 3D Mario game that they wanted. Then there's just like a little bonus, so now everyone's saying good things about 3D World. So those are my examples.
And also,
I was just gonna ask Jarrell, do you like 3D World?
I thought, yeah.
I gave it a 6.
I like cats, okay? I am not a Mario fan, so I would not be upset
What?
with that 6.
Who says
Okay,
I'm not a Mario fan?
Let me correct
Loser.
myself. I like Mario, right? I'm not a platforming fan. So when everyone else was like, they grew up playing Mario, I did not. So my first Mario, like full playthrough Mario game is actually Super Mario 3D World. I played as the hat in Mario Odyssey, and I thought it was trash, so I never picked that game up again, because a friend played it, and I was like, multiplayer, I never picked that game up again. I have a huge blank in Nintendo, so like my first Zelda game that I finished was
Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening, the remaster, because it was so cute, and I only bought it because it was super cute. That was my first Zelda game, so I'm not like this, I don't have this Zelda background, so I'm not surprised that you gave it a 6. But did you play with friends when you reviewed it?
I played with a friend, and he's like, he's not an excitable, like, hype dude, so I feel like I had a better experience when I played on the Wii U back in the day than I did again because of who I played it with.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
That makes sense,
Okay.
though. Who you played 3D World is going to largely
Yeah.
affect your, we had, like, starting for context, it was, myself, Jarrell, and Gabe, as well as, Christy, who's one of our writers, and she, co-hosts on Friday stream. So it was us 4, and we were a nice little fun little group. So we went through essentially the entire game, fully 4-player. There's plenty of chaos, and that just led into like a really positive experience for us. It's because it was a nice blend of us either working together to finish the levels or sometimes sabotaging each other. So it was a nice balance of both. But eventually we did finish the game, including like the Champions Road, which took us 3 streams to do, because that's just hard.
If I played it by myself, I would also give it a 6.
I tried to like get him into it and be like, "Oh, this is so fun and wacky," and he's just like, "Yeah." I was like, "Man,
Yeah, all right, I
sucks."
guess.
Bro, you just gotta be a cat and like run through the level, and then
You
you
need
have
to
the
play-
best time.
He
of
don't
your
like
life.
cats. He didn't like
Oh,
cats.
well, then that's your
Well,
problem.
there
the
it
whole
is.
it's Mario cat game for a reason. I called it that the whole stream because who cares about the rest of the game? It's about being a cat the whole time.
Our
They do
our
too.
our chat where we were organizing when we were going to stream it was literally called Mario Cat's Playtime.
Yeah, because that's the only thing I refer to that game as. Because what else is there aside from being a cat and running around?
Official name.
Nah. Nah. So anyway, the reason that all of this happened is because to Apex Legends, and the article goes on to say, as for a potential wait, no, wrong one. Respawn said Titanfall 2 fans have some really cool stuff to look forward to in the upcoming season, which could mean new and experienced players alike are jumping back into Titanfall 2 to prepare for Apex's upcoming season. Because, just in case you didn't know, Apex Legends takes place within the same universe as Titanfall, 30 years after the event of Titanfall 2. So, because there was that whole Season 9 Battle Royale information that a ton of Titanfall would be coming back, everybody hopped back onto the Titanfall 2 train, and that game saw a resurgence that it probably deserved.
It did.
I can't think of a game for myself, so I am just going to move on. And since we were talking about Mario, of course, we can talk about the fact that after 2 years, for some weird reason, Super Mario Party on
3.
Nintendo Switch, is it 3 years?
3. Well,
Oh my god.
no, I guess it's 2, but it's about to be 3, like very soon.
Well, almost 3 years later, Super Mario Party on Nintendo Switch will have new online play options available with a free update. You can get Mario Party mode, Partner Party mode, and dozens of mini games online. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with how I feel about this, and then you guys can tell me how you feel about this almost 3 year later update. I only bought Mario Party so that I could play with Marissa, who's in California. I'm in Florida. The only reason I bought Mario Party is because I wanted to play with her. We both got the game, and then we found out we cannot play storyboards together because, for whatever fucking reason, that was not an initial part of the game. You could only play specific mini games, and like not even all of them. It was like I don't remember how many. Brandon, do you remember how many?
It was 10. Out of the 80 mini games
Out
you
of
could play,
80 mini
10
games
online.
you could
Nintendo
only
gonna
play
Nintendo.
10 online. And I'm pretty sure she never played again. She was like, I can't believe I
She
just wasted
was
$60 on this.
furious.
Fucking so sad, so upset. I've only played that game maybe 3 times since I purchased it, and that's just when friends were over and when family
Same.
came over, and I've not touched it since then. I'm so excited to have multiplayer, but you know, like Sterling just said, fucking Nintendo. Like it is very much like them to update a game almost 3 years later that no one is even asking for anymore at this point. Like, who was out there saying, give me this in 2021? And they should have done it last year and capitalized when we were all playing Animal Crossing together because we couldn't go anywhere. That's when they should have done that shit and been like, hey, you can also play Super Mario Party. But yeah, that's my rant on that. How do you guys feel about this?
Okay, so I'll start with the negative before I go into the positive, because you're absolutely right. This is like the reason why like you said, no one was asking for this. Like, I wanted to make it clear anymore, because after 3 years, people gave up hope.
Yeah.
Like 2018, like, you know, it launched without a real online mode where you could play board games. So people were clamoring for it on year 1. And then a lot of people stopped after the first year. And then the really strong holdouts held on for another year until like 2020. Then we went into a pandemic and there was no news, and people were like, oh, okay, this is not happening. Maybe Super Mario Party 2 or some shit will have it. And then it finally happens and people are like, what? Now?
Can I also say, it's also very Nintendo to just put out a tweet about it, like, randomly.
At 8 a.m.
Like,
Eastern time.
like, in the middle of nowhere. Like, oh yeah, hey, so there's this thing too. Go have fun.
Like I woke up in the morning, it was like maybe almost 10. I was like looking at my phone, I was like, oh, we'll do what the fuck? I was like, this really happening?
I had the
Like,
exact same reaction, like literally.
Yeah, oh my god. Now, with that negative shit out of the way, that it's, you know, taking way too late to get this. My god. I'm so excited. This is finally happening. Like, I am a huge Mario Party enthusiast. I've literally played every single one. The only one I have never played is the e-reader one they had back in the day. I've literally played every single one. Yeah, there was an e-reader one, and that's the only one I never touched. I played the Game Boy Advance one, the DS one, all the 3DS ones, every console one. But yeah, that's the only one I've missed. But I've always dreamed of there being an online Mario Party because, when you can get people together, that's the definitive way to play, obviously. Mm-hmm. But that's just not feasible these days for so many people, especially us. We're literally all over the place. So, and then knowing Marissa has been in the Mario Party trenches almost as long as I have.
So,
if not,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So and it's just crushed me to know that I couldn't play with her. I obviously would have played to all of you, but Marissa especially because she's really into the Mario Party like that. So seeing her furious about it, it crushed me. It was soul crushing. So as soon as I found out this online thing, I was rejoice. I've already started talking to Marissa about getting some Super Mario Party streams going where we play online. So that's going to start as early as next month. I'm so excited. I'm just so happy that this is finally happening. Super Mario Party it's not my favorite Mario Party, but it's very fun. And, the fact this is the first one you play online is really good. But hey, if you guys want to hear more about my thoughts on Mario Party in general and this online update, I wrote an article about it at HPCrtiical.com. So, you can check that.
Shit.
Here's my thing is that if I understand that you're excited to play online. My issue is that
Nintendo Online's crap.
Okay, that too. I'm just bored with the game. I'm bored of doing the same maps 100 times. There's only 4 of them. I'm tired of it always being the same outcome because there's not enough randomness to each board, and they're so small. Online just is not going to bring me back. I find, I think it's been a year or 2 since I've played Mario Party, and last time I played it, I was just wow, I'm getting really, really tired of this game. And from what I've heard, the rumor is going around that they did this online update to kind of prolong the time between the next game, because the next game was supposed to come out relatively soon, but because of COVID, that can't happen. So,
that was the other thing too. I'm glad you brought that up as well because Super Mario Party is probably the best-selling Mario Party game of the series. Yeah. It's done crazy numbers on Switch. I think it's sitting at 13 million as far as the last sales figure from its initial release of 2018. So even before this announcement came on that it's finally getting the online play, people were just buying this game just to play with their people that happen to be in their house. And which is, I guess, that's what a Mario Party has always been. So people, I guess, are just kind of used to that at this point. I'm curious to see how, if at all, the online numbers are going to drive it, because some people are going to be like you, Sterling. People who already own it, they've already tired of it? Is this too late for them? Or people that haven't bought it yet? I'm curious to see if they will now get it because that's more people that can play with. Because at the end of the day, if you're playing at your home, only you need to have the game, and everyone else could just come to your place. But if it's online, everyone needs to have their own copy of the game, and so that's the thing. I don't necessarily think that it could, but if you say, hey, I want to play this, so let's both buy this game, which we talked about in the last podcast. Nintendo games don't go on sale. That is still at full price. Yeah, hey, I gotta buy this game. You gotta buy this game so we can play together, and hopefully we both keep playing the game together so that we can enjoy it. So we'll see. I'd be interested in seeing. I know I already own the game, and thankfully I haven't played it to death like you, Sterling, so I could still squeeze some matches out with friends, and that's really what Mario Party is to me. Again, it's not my favorite. There's definitely way better Mario Parties. 3 is my personal favorite. Hoping we eventually get a Nintendo 64 online service with 3 so we could play that as a group. But
like you said, the most optimal way to play this game is in person, right? Because you have that banter, you have the competitiveness, it's fun, it's wacky. You can't even talk to somebody when you play Super Mario Party because there's no online voice chat. So you're going through Discord or you're calling each other, and you know what? That's stupid, Nintendo.
It is stupid. It is. You know what else is really stupid? This is a first, Nintendo added that on Switch update years ago. Not years, but it was quite a while ago where you could on your Switch invite people to a specific game. This is the first party Nintendo game to actually use that feature why is it this one of all games? Why? Like, Splatoon has been sitting there, Mario Kart 8 has been sitting there, and this is the first one you can, like, direct invite people.
I saw that tweet, and I could have sworn there was another one that you could do that in, but I guess...
Not a first-party game. There are a few third-party games that have used the
features. I thought
features.
that was a first-party one, but what do I know? What I do know... Actually, speaking of what I know, I know the size of Lady D's foot and shoe.
Yeah!
And I remember that we discussed this when Wesley was on the podcast, how big her shoe would be. And IGN has confirmed that it is 44 centimeters and a size 26 in US.
Size 26?
26. And Andre the Giant is size 58. And Shaq
I
is
saw
size
that.
23.
What the fuck? How is that humanly possible?
I mean, you gotta play Resident Evil 7 to find out.
He got a foot the size of my torso.
He's got the ruler!
You know, I saw this and I was so happy. Because we had just discussed the size of her feet. Kelly, Gabe, how does that make you feel?
I think
Bro, she can step on my whole head.
Gabe, why you got a mark at 2 inches on that ruler? What's going on there?
Oh my god!
I was gonna put the measurement like on my face because obviously we don't follow each other on Twitter. Actually, I think we do. We do, yeah, we do. But this was before. So I was, when they first introduced Lady Dimitrescu, I was very horny for her. And one of the main things, I'm not even gonna sugarcoat that one.
Go to horny jail right now.
What? No. And one of the main things that, like, I always repeatedly said, anytime there is a picture, a cosplay, or a clip of her from the game, I would quote tweet it and just say, please step on my face. So I was right now measuring 26 inches with that ruler to see, how much she's going to cover when she steps on my face. And it's a lot. So.
Gabe, can I say something?
Sure.
What Sterling actually said was, why do you have 2 inches marked on your ruler, not 26?
Oh, do I really?
Wait,
sure.
I think she's a size 26. Her foot's not 26 inches. It's 44 centimeters, which would be like
size 26.
1.5 feet.
So this is 30. I have 2
30
inches marked on.
centimeters.
First of all, for everyone listening and not watching, I don't actually have 2 inches marked on this.
We all know why.
I'm just gonna pass over
okay.
that.
I could make a joke, but I won't. I will.
Yeah, it's okay. Go ahead and make that joke, and you'll be 6 feet under.
I don't get.
That was so bad.
I don't get the Lady D.
That was great. That was
horniness
wonderful.
And the step on me thing, but it is impossible not to just admit that she has a dump truck of an ass.
Yeah,
Yes, we do.
I've seen that.
Absolute dumper.
And it's so big that, like, it would literally crush you, like, physically.
Step on my face while you also.
And it would be at face height, probably. Or above. Literally. You'd just be looking directly at it or having to look up. I kind of get it, and a lot of people have been doing the cosplays, which is, like, so great.
They're amazing.
They've been
Yeah,
so good.
but-
They're real
Really
people.
good.
Yeah. Yes, Gabe. You might not have a chance, but they are real.
I didn't say I have a chance.
But what is it?
Damn,
Is it
y'all are
just the
ragging
fact
on
that
his
she's
tiny
big?
penis size and
It's
the fact that he has
it's just she's hot.
That's okay,
She has,
don't be miserable.
she's not only hot and tall, she's also stacked. I just honestly don't get how they're gonna tie it into Resident Evil 7. Like,
This has been the.
that's what I'm concerned
Are you
about.
saying you want lore for the dump truck ass? Is that what you're
Yes.
saying?
Where did she come from? Why is she that big?
He's a vampire.
Why is it vampires now in Resident Evil and not monsters?
So
meh.
I've heard that they're not actually vampires or werewolves. They're
Oh, well, then that makes sense. Well, if you think about it, in Resident Evil 7, that does, like, they have, like, what they did with Mia. She, like, turns, but she's not, like, totally gross.
I stopped after the guy started chasing me in the beginning, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
His wife.
Once again, oh, the wife that's missing. I literally
Oh.
turned that game off so quick.
I'm telling you, that game, I know where some of the jump scares are because I played through it, and literally one of my Twitter clips, I put it on Twitter, I was walking around a corner and I was like, I think there's a jump. It scared the shit out of me. I was like, oh, I think there's a jump scare. Before I could even get the words out, it was right there. And it doesn't even make a loud noise. It doesn't do anything. It's just something is standing there when you come around the corner, and I could have pissed. Like, I was terrified. But I knew it was coming!
It's the best clip. It's literally the best clip. She literally says, I'm sure there's gonna be a jump scare. And it's right there. I'm like, you saw it. You knew it was there and you still got scared. That's how scary that game is.
It's really scary. And I hope that they continue that in Village, obviously. I have not played any demos or anything, though.
I did.
Because I don't want any spoilers. I just want to, like, start fresh, get scared shitless, and move on.
I played the demo and it was really scary, so I can tell you it was scary, but I also think everything's scary. I was playing, I was on this TV here.
True, I was scared of Phasmophobia.
I was so scared. I don't want to talk about it.
You literally turned the game off!
No, what actually happened was, let me explain to you guys what actually happened. So for anybody listening, we finally played a game together, and it happened to be, we were not supposed to play Phasmophobia all night, but we ended up playing fucking Phasmophobia all night. And, I had never played before, and I didn't do the tutorial, so I was like, hey guys, tell me how to play. By the way, they're the worst people to explain to you how to play Phasmophobia because they were just like, pick this up, click that up, and go. And I was like, okay. So I'm just walking around with the flashlight, having no idea what the fuck this game, like, what I'm supposed to do. And then they're like, oh my god, Jarrell, run, it's behind you. And I'm like, run where? I don't know what the fuck is going on. So I start running. They don't tell me that I gotta hide out of line of sight until after I'm dead, by the way. They literally let me run into a fucking room, and the noises are so fucking creepy. So I got really scared, so I started hitting my keyboard, and I was like, turn off, turn off, turn off! But it wouldn't turn off, like, the game froze, so I watched myself die, and I heard it, and my dog started barking because she was scared, and I was scared, and I was like, oh my god, I don't know how to turn the game off! So the game actually didn't go off, I just watched myself die, and then it was, like, stuck, so I watched myself die, like, 3 times, and I was crying and screaming, and then finally, my computer stopped being a fucktard, and then it started working, and then I was able to close the game, and then I left, because fuck that. But before I left, it was a really horrible experience, because I had to watch my death, like, multiple times, and it was really loud. I tried to turn it down, because the sound scared me the most, but it was actually really loud that my dog was barking, which also scared me, and my window was open, and I was like, oh my god, somebody's gonna kill me, and yeah, the whole thing was really bad. And then they decided to keep playing, because they hate me and my life, so...
no, let's give the real
None of the
reason
games
to keep playing. Because nobody downloaded Warzone like we were supposed to, which we all know is a big file size. And then, not to blame Brandon, but there was, you know how Call of Duty likes to update their game for like 50 plus gigs every 2 days for no fucking reason. And, you know, Brandon turned it on and it was giving him that big update that was like 80 gigabytes for no, because all they did was, you know, like take a couple of buildings off of their Battle Royale map and call it a new map. Fuck you, Call of Duty. So it's not because we just decided to keep playing all night long. It's because no one was prepared.
Also, in my defense, the reason that the game was so bad for me and it wasn't working is because my internet was not working. So I was actually literally using my phone.
Oh my god,
to play
that's true.
Phasmophobia.
Hey, TNC, fuck you too.
Like, I was like, how is my phone even handling this?
Also, Jarrell and Brandon don't play on PC, so having them play Phasmophobia and play on PC for like the first time pretty much was like just a double whammy. So I appreciate them being good sports. I mean, me and Gabe both have a lot of hours in Phasmophobia. So like throwing them in and then being like, oh, and
Brandon though,
you know,
Brandon was like,
enjoyed it.
Brandon,
I was having a great time.
We went in the first time. Brandon died on the very first map we did, and he was like, "Oh, I gotta stay on the map and like go around as it goes." And we were like, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, this game is great." He literally did not like. After that, he was the happiest go-lucky person I've ever seen play Phasmophobia.
That game ceased to scare me once I realized death means I just could be a cool ghost and walk around the map. I was like, I didn't try to die. I want to be very clear to everyone listening. I didn't try to die. But if I did,
totally tried to die at least
there's
once.
definitely at least 2 maps after that. We were like, I'm gonna grab the camera and just try to take a picture of the ghost.
We were
if I
done,
die,
and he's
die.
like, I'm gonna go take a picture. I'm like, why? We're finished. Let's leave.
Okay, I was trying to get a picture. I wasn't trying to die. I'll see if I can take a picture and leave.
We already had a picture. We literally already had a picture.
Okay,
Give Jarrell props though. He did do a lot better for his first time playing a scary game than I did. When I played the game at first, I took 1 step in the house and spent the rest of the time inside the van. So props to Jarrell.
I also, I don't know what anything is. So there was a moment where Kelly's like, oh, bring me this thing. And I pick it up because Gabe's like, oh, it's that thing on the top. And I walk over to her and she's like, what is this? This is not what I
No, he picked up the motion sensor, and I was asking him to bring me the spirit box, which they look similar.
I don't know what the fuck
they don't really look similar, but anyway, so he picks it up and he brings it in. He's like, oh, I brought the spirit box, I don't think he knew what it was called, so he said, I brought you the thingy. I was like, that's a motion sensor. I'll still use it, just that's not the right thing. Whatever, I still used it. That was one of the objectives.
I was like, I'm gonna be helpful. Here's the spirit box. There's a fucking motion sensor.
You had charisma. I appreciate it.
Charisma.
Oh my god.
That was a fun night, but we kind of went off on a tangent here, but
sorry.
Anywho, Resident Evil.
Yes.
Lady D. She's got big old D's and big old feet. Okay.
Yeah, so
moving on.
Let's move on. To Twitch, because we love talking about Twitch and how much they fuck up all the time, right?
Oh yeah.
It's not that bad. I fuck up sometimes too, but I feel like I still don't fuck up as much as Twitch. So Twitch support came out with a tweet that said, "We're updating the /me chat command to help minimize confusion and its potential for abuse. The command will now look more like a normal chat message." And they say, "You helped us identify this issue. Please continue to share your feedback on user voice." And so basically before, when you did the /me and you wrote something on Twitch, the comment would be highlighted in a color. I don't know if it was always the same color. And
it's the color of your name.
Okay. And now it's not colored. It's just a regular message because apparently it was being used for abuse. I am going to... Sterling, how often do you use Twitch? Great.
Not at all.
Okay, so Kelly, I'm going to refer to you.
Okay.
Which I was going to do anyway. Because they say that this command could apparently have potential for abuse. Have you seen that happen or how that works?
Yes. So abusing the me /me. So what it does is it makes the color of the text the same color as your name. Mm-hmm. So like if I was going to say like Kelly C is on fire, you would just do /me, and it's all in the same color. It looks cool. You can do like everyone, whatever their color is, it'll just change the text. Trolls had a habit of, okay, listen, you had to literally be born yesterday to fall for what they were doing. Like, they would do the /me and then put donated an amount of money. And it looks like almost official, but like, no one fell for that. You know what I mean? But people would still use it, whatever. So that was the abuse that I saw.
So just so I'm clear,
yeah.
One way that you can abuse the system is to make it look like you're donating an amount of money to the streamer, but you're not actually donating.
Which, to be honest, like I said, who is that fooling? It's just like, whatever. People would still get banned for it because it's like fake donations, but like, whenever you donate, like, it pops up in the stream, or it'll pop up like from Streamlabs, or there's something more official about than just someone typing in the chat that they donated. But that was the abuse that I saw. And I don't know of any other abusive things that went on with it, besides maybe, like I said, people trying to look official when they weren't. But who's falling for it? No one.
Well, the actual comment from, I guess, the user who created the message said that we understand that this was or rather the response to the message was, we understand that this was a feature that many of you use in various situations, including the ability for moderators to highlight or distinguish messages in chat, and we agree that is important. To provide context as to why we've made the decision to remove the original functionality of the /me command, we wanted to address the way this feature was being used to perpetrate abuse against members of our community. While we recognize this change is frustrating for some, the safety of our community remains our top priority. So let's just go with the sense of how you explained it, like the people were using this to pretend to make donations that they weren't doing, and this was their form of abuse, right? Do you think, one, that this is something that Twitch should be focusing on based on all the other things that are wrong with Twitch, including, not having tags for LGBT members, not having a black tag, not having a bunch of other things, or, they're really shitty fuck-ups for representation. Asian American Pacific Islander Month is in May, which is coming up, so I'm hoping that they don't do another, Mexican sombrero fuck up like they did for Hispanic Heritage Month. So we'll see what happens there. But do you think that this is something that Twitch should be focusing on? And do you think that the good, which would be highlighting messages in chat from moderators maybe, would outweigh the bad, which is, in this specific case, pretending to send donations or bothering streamers?
I don't know why they thought that the color was somehow the problem. It just changed it to the color of your username.
Username, right? Okay.
So, but they're making it to where it's italic. So, the message is still differentiated. Who cares? Like, just because it's italic, people are still going to use it the same way. Yeah. So I feel like, first of all, it was a non-issue, because who's falling for it? Like, if you're experiencing abuse, I don't know who's like, you thanked someone for a fake donation. Are you being abused? Like, I don't know what else other people were dealing with. Like I said, harassment or whatever, but the me command is not making people be harassers. Like, and just having it italicized is still going to differentiate it from the other tags. I feel like this was such a non-issue. But at the same time, it was something that they thought was a problem and they fixed it. And it was probably a pretty easy fix. So I guess they just took an easy problem-solving thing and did it. I mean, I don't know why, but I guess this was a lot easier than tackling actual issues about people putting up fake donations or harassing people. I guess changing some text was easier. It's,
And just to before you go, I'm sorry. Just to put this into context, there is another another request that has 1,115 votes, which is a request for Twitch to fix, and it is adding pronoun information to chat. And it says, for people who are trans and or non-binary, letting streamers know your pronouns in chat so that you're gendered correctly can either be awkward or difficult. An option for people to add their pronouns in brackets beside their usernames or in their profile cards in chat might help to let the streamer and or chat know if a user feels it's important. Like, that's one of the things that has a lot of votes on this page, right? Another one is 3,000 votes for verified status for everyone, and / verified only chat mode. So it's kind of quality of life things. But I will say that the on this page, the top idea was the /me command. So apparently, 3,960 people voted for that, which is the top idea here. Wow. So that is what people are most concerned about right now. So I guess it's more prevalent, I guess, than my own mind view of what's happening about it on Twitch. So I guess it may have been a lot of people might have been affected by it. So once again, we're just going with the scenario that you brought up, Kelly, because I personally don't know. But with that information, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sterling.
I mean, you pretty much just kind of covered what I was going to ask, Kelly. I was going to ask you, since you're a streamer, like, seeing this kind of stuff, is it like, are you kind of thinking, like, what is the point of this? Like, there's so many different and more important things to address. It's kind of like the Mario Party thing. It's like, this feels way too late, and B, it feels like you should really be focusing on something else and put your time into something else. Like,
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just like, is it like that?
Now that I realize that people voted for this change, that it definitely is making me not change my tune. I still think that it was really dumb, but it meant that much to a lot of people. But what I think would have been a much more, like, for me, a much more, like, useful thing would have been the pronouns, because, obviously to make trans people feel more, like, accepted and don't want to get misgendered, but obviously, like, I don't know who anybody is in the chat. It's just a name. Like, I don't know what I should call them. So having pronouns, it would help, honestly, everyone. Like, it would help even people that identify as, the pronouns, which, I don't know how to say it. But, like, in the chat, you can't see people. You don't know what they look like. Like, it's just a username. So that would definitely help gender people in the chat if they want that, obviously. I mostly just say, like, they and hey you, because I don't know, like, if they're, like, their gender. So I feel like that would be a much more helpful feature, but obviously it wasn't voted for. So the me thing is like...
Well, it was voted for. It was in the top 3.
Yeah, in the top 3, but I guess this was the most wanted feature. I really don't get it personally. I feel like other stuff is definitely way more helpful on Twitch, like I said.
To kind of go along with that, even though it was the top voted thing on that page, you know, if you guys read the Twitter comments, a lot of people are just saying, we don't need this, we didn't want this, nobody asked for this. There are
and
important things. So,
someone said that their viewers were actually complaining because if you have dyslexia, it's hard to read italics.
Not only that, I mean, people are also mentioning that it's really hard for streamers now to make important messages seen now, because it's now just the same color. Like, if you have a bot that's going to say something important, it's no longer colored anymore. Now it just looks like everything else. And so, I don't know if this
a lot of bot messages used that. That was like a whole bot thing.
HPCrtiical.com, I mean, twitch.tv/HPCrtiical, or it did, because apparently it won't anymore.
I think it'd just be so interesting to literally interview the main PR people for companies like YouTube and Twitch and be like, how come you guys just have garbage PR? Like, how come literally everyone who uses your platform hates it and thinks every move you do is wrong? Like, it's so harsh. That sounds so shitty, but I mean,
essentially, I've said it before, and I will continue to say it. I feel like what you need to do is have diversity consultants in your fucking Twitch circle to make better decisions. Like, I'm not going to complain too much because I see that people voted for this, but I also see that the downside kind of outweighs the positives of this situation currently, from what I know, from what I've seen, and that is just that it makes it harder for dyslexic people to read it. It makes it harder for bots to advertise what's going on in the channel. But hey, it's still there. Like, the function is still there. So it's like, I don't know why this was this wasn't something that was tackled, but I don't know why this was a high priority to be tackled when, your top 3 thing is adding pronouns. And I think that's so important, because I didn't even think of it in the way that Kelly said, which is when you're referring to someone in chat, you don't know who they are, how they'd like to, how they are presented. So, you could of course just, use he or they for everyone, but I think it's more personable to know your community and know how they are referred to, and speak responsibly on that. And Twitch should have some form of way to incorporate that. And I'm done because I'm rambling. Does anybody else want to comment on this before I move on?
No, and I feel like in chat, it's sometimes hard to tell, like, because people just have, like, random usernames.
Yeah.
I'm like, and people think that you, like, remember them and know what pronouns they've used in the past, but I don't always. And I don't want to, like, say she or he. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't even want to say it. So I say they. And like I said, I use, like, buddy, or, like, I really try, but it's, like, weird because sometimes on the fly you just end up, like, I get nervous and I just, like, say some weird stuff. I don't know. I just get so nervous. So it would help. But, and also I feel like if I just say they, like, people are like, they don't know. She doesn't know she doesn't know what I am. Yeah. I'm like, I really don't. Bumbling rabbit. I don't know what you are. Are you a rabbit? I don't know.
That's happened to me before too, like, where I've been in chat and, like, it was someone that I was supposed to know before, and I'm just like, I don't know who this person is. I don't remember that name, and I should know, like, how they're, referred to. I have no idea who the fuck this person is, and those pronouns would have helped a lot.
Oh yeah, it'll help. That's a helpful feature.
Very helpful for both sides. Mm-hmm.
As, like, an outsider, like, I don't stream ever, and I'm a straight white dude. Like, even I realize these issues. Like, there's such a big, resounding problem with this platform that if it reaches my ears, it's like, this is bad, and it needs to be
It's straight white guy knows. Come on, guys. Damn it.
I don't mean to
Jeez.
like obviously I stay tuned in the stuff and it's a big problem, but like I'm not on the platform. It's not a problem directed at me. But people like me have to say something about if it's this big of an issue that anytime a company is like, hey, we're going to fix this one thing, and everyone's like, why don't you fix the other thing, man? Like it.
Yeah, I mean, this
I'm getting cheesed on it just now, just talking about it. It's so dumb.
It reminds me of our last week's conversation, right? Where Blizzard invites all the top streaming male dudes, even though the female players are the fucking, like, top winners in Hearthstone, and they invite all the dudes, and you have the disparity between males and females on Twitch, right? And so there are things that can easily be worked on that can help the minority, or even like I've mentioned before, like I would love to have black people tag on Twitch. Sometimes I just want to go watch more black people have fun in games. Like I want to see my people sometimes, and when I log on to Twitch, I don't see them unless it's fucking February, which is a shame because I got 28 days to find like my favorite black streamers and subscribe before I lose them forever. I'd like an LGBT tag as well. You know, I'd like a trans tag. They're like, and it's not hard, and a lot of times people will just, you know, go with the excuse of, yeah, but if you put it, then you're just gonna have somebody that's gonna, you know, click on the black people tag and go in the chat and just spam the N-word, and yeah, but they do it anyway, so like it's not like you not putting it is gonna make it any worse than it already is. Like we already deal with these things, right? Like you know, if you put an LGBT tag, which I bet they do before they put any type of ethnicity tag.
No, they have an LGBT tag. We talked about it before. Yeah, because remember we were talking about the A. They were trying to make it seem like A was an ally, and it's very sexual. Yeah, yeah. So they already have that tag, and they've had that for a while. But like,
people tag? Trash.
Yeah.
You know what else is trash?
What is trash?
Putting, what is this? Putting character editing behind a fucking paywall. That
what
is
did
trash.
this?
That is Monster Hunter Rise, but it's also Final Fantasy 14, kind of, sort of, but I won't go into that because I love that game. Monster Hunter Rise. Monster Hunter Rise puts character editing behind a paywall again, and fans aren't happy. This is from IGN.com, written by Joe Screbbles, and it says, Monster Hunter Rise's latest update locks elements of character editing behind a paywall for the second time in series history, and many fans aren't happy about it. The 2.0 title update for Monster Hunter Rise, which is now available, adds new monsters, layered armor, and more, but players noticed one returning feature that we're far less happy to see. Character edit vouchers, first introduced in Monster Hunter World, now allow you to almost fully customize your created character again after starting the game, but at a cost. We asked Capcom for clarity on exactly how the vouchers work. This is the quote. Character edit vouchers work similarly to how they do in Monster Hunter World, explains a post spokesperson. Only minor character edits, hairstyle, makeup, etc. were possible up until now and will remain available for free. Character edit vouchers now allow extended editing of your character, body type, detailed facial features, etc. The first voucher is free, but after that, if you want to do things like change your body type or facial features, etc., it is going to cost you, and each new one will cost you $2.99 US, with discounts for buying multiple vouchers. So you could go spend $3 to change the way that you look. I don't like paywalls that do just cosmetic stuff, especially if you're gonna let me do it. Like if I can make my character, then you're gonna tell me that I can't customize my character later. And I want to say that I think this is very different from buying customizable DLC. Because I was gonna compare it to that before, because I know that a lot of us have spent money on just for a lack of a better word, bullshit. That is just, you know, character visuals. But stopping someone from changing the character they've already created and charging them $3 to do that, I think it's kind of a bad look. What do you guys think?
It's kind of nasty. Yeah.
I mean, we all have paid to. I don't know. We've all paid for cosmetic stuff only, so. I'm not opposed, but also you have to pay to change your cosmetics in most games anyway. It's just not actual money. Like, you have to pay currency in the game
Right.
You
I
know?
think the problem is that this is the second time that the series has done this. So, like, in other games...
Because they made so much money last time!
Clearly.
They're like, we cannot stop doing this.
But they don't make you do it in every game. So it's like, why do I have to do it in the latest game that everybody has? We already paid $60 for this, and now I gotta pay extra money to change the way I look? Fuck y'all.
Then don't
Capcom
change the
has
way
so
you
much
look.
money. You're right. Just
Think about it.
don't change the way you
I mean,
look. Think
honestly
about it
though,
really
in
hard.
Monster Hunter, you like
Don't see yourself anyway, so it doesn't matter. Is that what you're gonna say?
I mean, technically, yes, it doesn't matter. I don't like it, but like, this is one of those games. This is one of those games where like, I don't know, if you create your character and along the way you're like, oh, I don't like the way they look. I just throw on a new set of armor, bro. Like,
I mean, you
not
can
even
still
kidding, but,
change your character too, though.
yeah, but my thing is though, like, Monster Hunter is in one of those games where like you have like the helmet off, helmet on option, so you
Which
can't even
is
see your
also
head.
Infuriating.
I mean, to me personally, having your full set makes the hunt more real, because like, I don't know, sometimes when I play a game and I have the helmet off, helmet display option off, and like my character gets whacked in the head, I'm like, yeah, put the helmet back on, because that looks like you should have killed him. But I mean, I don't like the paywall. I think if you want to make it so hard or drastic, just do what Skyrim did and make the player pay. I think it was like 50,000 in-game currency to change your character's looks. If you want to, I don't know.
I have the same response as Kelly. Is that 50,000?
That's way too much.
Yeah,
I think it was changed it for the remaster. The remastered now I think is 20,000 gold. The original used to be 50,000. Again,
Oh my God.
like,
yeah.
still in-game currency, and if you play Skyrim long enough, you know how to get 20,000, 50,000. Like,
In
I
World
don't
of
know.
Warcraft, they charge you like 10 gold or something.
Yo, to speak on World of Warcraft really quickly, for it took literally, so I had been playing since like 2006. I was a blood elf on the Horde side, go Horde, and I hated that blood elves could not be black. It literally took until 2019 or 2020 for them to have finally darker skin fucking blood elves. So shout out to Blizzard, but also fuck you, Blizzard. Because why did it take you years to finally add some darker skinned elves? Like, it's ridiculous that it took them that long to do that. So sorry, I want to throw that out there.
If you guys disagree, absolutely say so. What with the Monster Hunter thing that doesn't make sense to me is, how do you charge for a feature that should just be in the game? Why aren't they charging like $3 to $5 for bundles of like 5 monsters that they do, like that they just did? Why not charge for that? I'd pay for that every single time if it was like $3. Why are they charging for this?
So, fun fact, the update and the monsters they just put in were actually to finish the game. So,
What?
Oh, so this update will be
yeah,
free, but later ones might be
this
paid.
update is finishing the game.
Got it. Okay.
I'm sorry,
That-
what? Are you saying the game wasn't done? I don't understand.
But yeah, the
Yeah.
game wasn't done.
No one told me that Monster... I would not have bought this game. Are you serious?
It wasn't done. It's done now, but like, it wasn't done. So we had to wait about a month. Well, I say we as in everyone who bought it, but I am nowhere near the end game. But
you
yeah,
can see how much I played it, because I had no idea.
it's something, that as far as I know, Monster Hunter World did as well too. The game that you originally bought is not the full game. And the premise is that these hunts take so long
No.
that by the time the update comes,
no.
you're finally getting to that part.
There's no excuse.
But, yeah. Oh no, I wasn't giving you an excuse. I'm saying that's the thought process on it. It's a horrible thing.
We're just gonna add a lore reason that we're putting out an unfinished game.
But I will say it is a lot better than putting out a game and then making people pay to have the story finished, which I can't off the top of my head remember a game that does that. And also,
2?
I don't play Final Fantasy,
Excuse
so
me?
I wouldn't know.
What?
Oh no! Yeah, before he
Final
starts,
Fantasy 13
hold up.
too, when you have
13.
when you have
okay.
to pay
Okay.
pay to get like the ending in the end, like.
Okay.
Just
You
make
said
Isn't
13
there
too.
a
Final
part-
Fantasy's trash. Legend of Zelda doesn't do that.
Yes, because
but
now she's gonna say
in-
there's a part 2 to Final Fantasy VII Remake. I don't
Yeah.
want to have this conversation. I think that is very different, because you do
And
get a
you
full
can't even get it
game.
on PS4. Isn't it PS5 only? So that's some
But
bullshit.
that's also because bitches were crying about textures in the background, and this is what they get. Now you can only play it on PS5, so get a PS5. I will defend Final
We're in the middle of a
I
pandemic.
would have bought one if I fucking could have.
It's not my fault you can't find one. It's not Square Enix's fault you can't find one.
Listen, just kidding. I am not buying. I am not spending $500 on a new console. I'm just not doing it.
I'm sorry, Gabe.
Anywho.
I forgot what I was talking about already.
He said he hates Final Fantasy,
no.
and you're dumb.
What?
I mean, I
That's
did
not
say
what
that
I
too.
said.
No,
That's what I
Gabe said.
Oh, okay.
But like, also didn't at least and to like kind of soften the blow of having a update for to finish your game. In fairness, Monster Hunter hasn't even been out for a full month, so
How is that fair? You still? I just found out that I purchased an unfinished game.
Yeah, but it
see.
depends
Wait, hold
on
on.
what-
Hold on, because now Jarrell's going to use that excuse the entire time, and I don't want to hear it because, one, you don't play Monster Hunter enough to be even near the end of the game, so it's not something that's actually affecting you, so let's calm that down. And two, for the reason one.
It don't matter, because what if I did? What if I did play
that all the time?
and then I got to
We're
that
not doing
moment, and I'm just
hypotheticals.
like,
We're not doing hypotheticals.
fine,
We're living in a world of realism, not a
Fine.
hypothetical.
fine.
I just want to know, Gabe, what your definition of like a finished game is. What
Please.
does that mean?
Yeah, I'm curious too.
I mean, a finished game. Like when I say like the update finished the game, that's what I'm going off of. Like what everyone's been reporting, because apparently the ending, they have the big one bad monster, and I don't know how, like, I guess in the update now you can fight that monster like properly or whatever, but I don't know. To me, a finished game is the story, the main storyline is done. That's a finished game to me.
Battlefront 2, I
Like,
remember.
for example,
I remember Battlefront 2.
yeah, Battlefront 2 is another one of the games.
Yeah,
You pay
campaign
full
wasn't
price
done
for,
when it came out.
and to be now that you mention it, Battlefront 2's campaign is still not done, but they're not going to update that game anymore.
It hadn't
Did you
ended.
finish,
What are you
did you
talking
finish
about?
the second chapter?
Yeah, I did when it came out.
Okay, so spoiler alerts for anyone who hasn't watched or played Battlefront 2. Okay, Drew. So at the end, you saw how, like, you know, Aiden Furzo died. Sorry, Drew.
Literally,
so sorry.
on the wrong
And then-
part.
Then her daughter was like picking up the mantle. That game wasn't done. That story wasn't finished.
I thought I remember that, but I felt like that was hinting towards another game.
No, because remember, by that time, EA had already lost their not lost, but like they no longer have the sole rights to the Battlefront title.
Well, not the sole rights, but they could still make a game.
To me,
and also,
it looked like it wasn't done.
okay, that's fair. But I'm just saying that there could still be more. And the other thing was that they already had their plot written down before that news came down. The reason why that news came down was because they were predatory as fuck when that game first came out. And then Disney was like, "Whoa, what's going on here? Nah, you can't have all this EA now. We're gonna spread the love now." What's all this nonsense about?
I'm just curious, by your definition, is Final Fantasy VII Remake not a complete game?
Oh, so
He didn't finish it yet, right?
He hasn't finished,
I'm gonna
so-
sprinkle for you. I've never played. This is my second ever Final Fantasy game. The only other one I played was Final Fantasy 14. So Jarrell got me into Final Fantasy 7, and Jarrell was like, he's like, "Oh, this isn't the game's not done." But the way Jarrell explained it to me, it feels like if the first part alone could be its own game. So when I finish the game, I'll get back to you on that, because this is my first time ever playing Final Fantasy 7. Only reason I know Cloud is because of Smash Bros.
Will say that I do believe that Final Fantasy VII Remake is worth the $60, and I do believe that it is a complete story, right? Have you played it, Sterling?
Oh yeah, like by my definitions, it is a full, complete, good ass game.
And I will defend that game for the life of me. I think it is one of the only, one of the best, rather, representations of what it looks like to have a proper remake. I think Square Enix did a great job at diversity in Final Fantasy VII Remake. I will talk about it all the time. I think it's amazing that the world of fucking Midgar is so diverse with different ethnic backgrounds. Like, they've done so many little things, that a lot of people will say, oh yeah, Japanese studio, they don't add, like, brown people in their games. You fucking liars. Look at Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like, I think that game does so many things well. And it is a complete from start to finish story. Now, there is a continuation, and you can, if you'd like, go, play through the rest and see what happens to this cast of characters, but there is a beginning, middle, and end to that game, I think, and the end is pretty fucking epic.
Mm-hmm.
I just, that last, like, image, like, the unknown journey will
it's
continue.
It's beautiful.
It is so beautiful.
Do you know what's not beautiful?
It's not beautiful.
Stadia.
Oh.
Stadia has added some really nice quality of life improvements to their UI, which includes a Kelly, your face, which includes a search bar. Now you can search you can search through your games on the web. They also have some upcoming features, which is going to add an activity feed. Is there any system that you guys have owned in the past or own now that has a decent UI that you'd like, or is there any system that you have that needs a UI update? And I bring that up because I don't know who's actually using Stadia, but I feel like it's been out for quite a while now. How long has it been out? Like a year at least, right?
Something like that. A little more than a year, like maybe 2 years now.
Yeah, so it's 2 years, and Google's just putting a search bar like it's not their big thing. Like, y'all do searches. I don't understand why you're just adding a search bar and just
You're Google.
2 years later. So is there a system is there a system that needs some type of UI improvement that you guys think deserves it, that doesn't have one yet?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say Switch. I agree.
What do you think?
Because I like it's fine as it is now, but there's a lot of room for improvement. First of all, like freaking themes would be a really good one. I know a lot of people want folders, and I personally, I if they made folders, I would use them. But I personally don't care too much about it. I just want themes on my Switch.
What is it? 3 years of the Switch now?
4.
Oh my god!
4.
And we still don't have themes.
We're not themes. 4 years in. We're on themes.
I mean, at least on like Stadia, we have games.
Stadia has games.
I mean, exclusive games.
Why you gotta do that to them? They're working really hard.
Fuck Stadia. You know how I feel about Stadia?
I don't know why we're even still talking about Stadia.
What is this?
I've said so many times, I don't even know what it is, and if I did, I would not care. I just cannot.
It is probably easier to watch an episode of Rick and Morty on Pornhub than it is to find anything on Stadia.
Oh my god! Well, that's because they.
It sounds like you know from experience.
I gotta get that Rick and Morty.
I paid $7.99 a month for Hulu if it's on Pornhub.
I just knew you were gonna say you paid $7.99 for a Pornhub subscription.
You heard it here, folks. Go to
For Hulu.
What?
Oh, so with ads?
Right? Porn with ads? Ew.
I mean, no, what?
Hulu with ads.
Oh, girl, what are you talking about?
If porn has ads, nobody watches long enough to have to get to any of them, you know?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Put them in the front.
Takes you to watch, but maybe we're getting in real deep.
You never know, man.
That's how it goes with porn. Anyway, moving on.
Wait, that's what she said.
We gotta save this for episode 69. Stop.
No,
Okay.
I don't know what's happening.
Move on.
Sorry. I swear, the closer we get to 69, the worse it gets.
Yeah.
So, for anyone who doesn't know,
invite me back on for 69.
We've got a list.
I'll see if we can squeeze you in too. It's gonna be a great time.
Just have a big podcast orgy.
69 people.
69 people at one time.
69 people in the podcast.
Horrible, chaotic.
We should make the podcast 69 minutes.
Upload it to Pornhub!
Oh my gosh, we should do that! I don't know how good that look on us, but we should do that!
It's really getting so much worse as it continues.
And you're
Okay.
on Pornhub?
Oh my God.
Actually, I am.
Yeah, we're all on Pornhub now. But that'd be great. You could actually really tell people you're on Pornhub. So the PlayStation 5, it has sold 7.8 million units as of March 31st, 2021, according to Sony. 3.3 million were shipped in the past quarter. For reference, the PlayStation 4 has sold 7.6 million units in the same time frame. So that's 7.8 versus 7.6 units. And demand remains higher than supply for the PS5. And a total of 338.9 million games were sold for the PS4 and PS5 over the past fiscal year. This includes both packaged and digital copies. 65% or 220 million were sold via digital download, higher than the 53% ratio of last year. Which, I mean, obviously, because everybody's home and nobody wanted to go out and buy anything. We're going to compare that with the Xbox. Where is it? Oh, so there was a wonderful article that I want to reference before I move on to some serious stuff and then end the podcast, because I realize that we talk a lot. There is a wonderful article over at windowscentral.com written by Jez Corden that is titled "Comparing Xbox Game Pass to Spotify or Netflix Simply Doesn't Work." And the reason I wanted to bring this up is because a lot of people think that Game Pass does not make money for Xbox. And before I go into this, I want to hear your raw thoughts on how you think Game Pass as a service works for Microsoft. Like, do you think it makes money? Do you think they break even? Do you think they care? Do you think it's a good service, business-wise? How do you feel about it?
I think in the beginning it didn't. I think when the Game Pass first launched, I think they were losing money on that because it's an insane deal. They had to. It was very much an investment in the most strictest of terms, because they had to like really push that as a service that people would want, and a lot of people. Some people bit right away, but for the most part, they really had to get more games that people cared about on Game Pass before people would really like bite. Now, of course, we got all kinds of different games now. Like Square Enix has their deal where they're bringing a whole bunch of like JRPGs, which is a market that Game Pass was missing, because now those are like long games that you can get on your Game Pass subscription as well. And just even barring the fact that it's long, there's just more variety. More variety is good. More people want, like, if you're going to subscribe to a service that gives you all these different games for a monthly fee, you want as much options as possible. So I think now they are making a profit on it. Like you'll tell me in a second if I'm wrong or not, but I think now they are, because now the variety is there and more people are subscribing as a result of it.
Anybody else?
I think they definitely make money off of it, because I feel like the companies have to pay Xbox to have their games on Game Pass. Like, that's because the way my mind goes about, like, you know, streaming services and stuff, like, you know, Netflix and Spotify's excuse me, is, while the creator themselves get a portion of the money, like, also they in the first place have to make a deal with the company to put their product, or in this case their video game, you know, onto the streaming service. So I definitely feel like they've be making money.
A lot of
hate them. Right.
Go ahead.
a lot of companies will actually lose money on some products because they make so much profit on others. And I'd say that Xbox, that's what they're doing with their stuff, like their first party titles on Game Pass. Like, I feel like they're making so much because they're just keeping all of the revenue that they're making off of that, because they already created it and then they put it on Game Pass and people are paying for subscriptions. I feel like they're making everything. So they'll literally probably lose money on some games to get people into Game Pass that are then gonna play their games and like just keep the subscription open. I feel like I said, they'd be willing to lose money on certain games. And now that they keep acquiring developers, it's like, okay, well, then it's just gonna, like, they're just gonna have those games on Game Pass. And the thing is that you have to have the Xbox Live anyways. So like, you're already paying $10 a month for that. Just getting Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, it's only $15. It just seems like why not? I mean, I've been paying for it and I've used it actually quite a bit, but I digress. I have 2 Xbox Ones, so
that's $180 a year. Just throwing that out there.
But I have 2 Xboxes and a PC, and I play games on
great
all
value for you.
3 of them.
So, like, you know, $15 a month is not, you know, I was mad when Netflix.
Like, how much would you spend if you, how many, okay, $180 was that 3 video games?
I'm
3
not
full
saying
price
that it's
video
not
games?
worth it. I'm not saying that's not worth it. I think, like, obviously the value speaks for itself. Like, it's
I'll
definitely
fight
worth
you.
it. No, I
No,
think it's definitely worth it.
No,
I just think
it's
that-
not worth it for everyone. I mean, I think
That's
it's
what
kind
I
of
was gonna
silly,
say.
to be honest.
$15 a month, I can afford it currently, but who knows whether I can afford that in a few months, Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Sorry, Sterling. Your shirt's just great. It's beautiful.
I think it's, I think what Gabe said is kind of interesting. You think that companies are paying Xbox to be on Game Pass?
I know, like, it's like a deal thing where, like, they pay them, then I feel like, from my understanding, is they also have to pay to be, like, on that service.
Again, obviously, I don't know, but the way I imagine it is that Xbox pays the company a smaller amount, but then they say, okay, you'll get a cut of a certain amount of money if a lot of people play your game every month, and that's how you'll make the revenue back and everything.
Ooh, but that would mean, just if we go with what you say, that would mean that, like, if I am approached by Microsoft and they want me to bring my game onto Game Pass, I would then have to agree to, like, putting my game exclusively on Xbox and then on Game Pass. Let's say it's an exclusive, and if it doesn't make money there, I don't give shit. Which, like, in that case, I would probably consider, doing multiple release and being able to get the revenue from PlayStation and Xbox, especially because we just discussed that, there are 33 million PlayStation 5s out there, and there's a bigger player base on PS5 and PS4 than there is for Xbox, so that would be very interesting.
I'd say if it was an exclusive, that they're probably just giving more of the money up front to say, okay, we're going to cover you no matter what. And maybe then they do, okay, we'll give you less of a cut if you get a lot of players playing your game. But most exclusives, right, it's just going to be from their first party developers, right? They're building, like, the huge catalog of developers, and then they have people, like, trying to buy something like Octopath Traveler to put on Game Pass, pretty much. And God knows they make so much money from people like me who just pay for this
and don't even use it.
and don't even use it and just let it go every month.
That's now you have the option to cancel it until you want it, or you can be like me, be frugal, be smart, buy the cards when they're on sale for, like, half price or cheaper, buy a year's worth, and only use them when you need them. Don't give Microsoft your money, or you can, up to you. It's your money. So this article over at Windows Central, it says, one of the ways that people try to discredit Xbox Game Pass and assume that it doesn't make money is to point to Netflix, Spotify, and other services that struggle to actually turn a profit. Spotify losses, hit 293 million euros in 2020, while Netflix enjoyed a healthy $2.7 billion net income. Netflix has 204 million subscribers as of this writing, and Spotify has 345 million active users. Obviously, that means there are more Spotify users than there are Netflix, and yet Netflix made much more money than Spotify did.
Well, because not every subscription on Spotify you don't have to pay, technically, so...
Yeah. Of which 155 million subscribe, with the remainder on a free ad-based model, like you were just saying.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. The last figure we have had for Xbox Game Pass was earlier this year, putting the service at 18 million. It goes on to say, although I've heard recently that it's crossed the 20 million mark, and may well be even further over that by now. And then this article specifically talks about what that means. So skip a little bit forward. It says, let's assume conservatively that all Xbox Game Pass users are on the $10 a month tier, which isn't even a thing, at 20 million subscribers. That gives Microsoft roughly 200 million per month at least, not including Game Pass Ultimate, to play around with. Which, when you think of it that way, that is a lot of money to throw behind, a studio and pay for a game that you want to invest in. Especially because that is monthly revenue, right? Like, that's just assuming that it's $10, and it's not. It's $15. So, like, at the assumption of $20 million, that's $20 million a month. which is a lot of money. And it goes on to say, unlike Spotify, Microsoft doesn't pay ongoing royalties for downloads. Every contract is different, but I understand that Xbox Game Pass pays out an upfront lump sum to get the game into the service, with additional benefits negotiated on a per-contract basis. Microsoft knows how much it has to spend over the month, giving them a relatively easy spreadsheet to work with when it comes to acquiring content, which forms part of the user acquisition cost, not factoring into marketing. So it's basically kind of what Sterling said. And it also goes on to say, unlike Netflix and Spotify, Xbox Game Pass also has an upsell component. And this is what I thought was so interesting, because I never thought about this. Essentially, I'm not going to read the rest of it, but essentially they go on to say that people who own games on Game Pass are more likely to buy DLC from those games, which means more money from Microsoft and more money to the companies that that create those video games. I never imagined that Xbox Game Pass had an upsell value, right? Like, and people do. It also goes on to say that people are more likely to buy physical or digital copies of video games if they have Game Pass. And I have Game Pass. Yakuza Like a Dragon was not on Game Pass, and I bought Yakuza digitally when I found out it wasn't on Game Pass, and I was like, oh my god, this is me. Like, I could have literally bought it on PlayStation, but I was already on Xbox on Game Pass looking for a game, and I ended up giving, that portion of my money to Microsoft instead of PlayStation, because it was convenient, it was there, I was using this as a service, the game I wanted on that service wasn't there, and now I just gave Microsoft, and Sega $60. On a specific platform, which then did decide where my money was going to be spent, right? That's like if you're playing Fortnite on PlayStation versus playing it on Xbox, either Sony's going to get your DLC money or Microsoft's going to get your DLC money. In this case, Microsoft got my money because of Game Pass. And I thought that was so interesting. Did you guys ever think of upselling on Game Pass? I never thought of this before.
No, I honestly haven't. It's an interesting tactic for sure.
It's how they keep their money going. That's crazy.
It's smart. It's smart.
It really is smart.
It can really snowball with merchandise too, right? Like games can be like television and movies and stuff like that, where they can make a lot of money from merchandise. So if you have a kid who just got an Xbox for Christmas and he has Game Pass, okay, maybe he tries Gears of War for the first time and he really likes Gears of War.
How old is your child?
It's hypothetical.
All the kids playing Grand Theft Auto, running over strippers these days. Like that kid might buy a shirt. That kid might then, because he has Game Pass, maybe he'll get Minecraft, and then God knows how much money they make off Minecraft merchandise, right? Like the whole effect can really, really snowball for each company, where it can just make that constant stream of money. Plus the Game Pass subscription.
Plus the monthly Game Pass subscription or the annual Game Pass subscription, even for people who aren't even playing the game. Right? I
mean, honestly, if I was paying $15 a month for a library of games, I would feel a lot. I was gonna say safer for some reason. I feel a lot better, spending money on DLC.
Yeah,
because I didn't buy the game at full price. That makes sense.
All right, I'm actually not going to shit on Game Pass because I think it's a great service. And I'm just going to move on to a few more things before we end the podcast. So now I'm going to talk about more serious stuff. Diversity. It's my favorite subject, if you haven't noticed. I'm sure if you're listening, you probably already fucking know. So first, and I sent this tweet, I think, to all of you. There is this guy. I have to find the tweet because I lost it. But, so, Grand Theft Auto 5 has roleplay, as I'm sure you guys are aware. And there is hold on, I can't find the tweet. 1 second. While I look for it, Joseph Ferris, the creator of It Takes Two, says that the game has officially sold over 1 million copies. And that proves that players want co-op games. Do you guys want co-op games?
Yes.
I like co-op games.
I just want friends to play with too.
A resounding yes. Gabe, we can play It Takes Two, I told you.
Wait, is it on Game Pass?
No, I don't think so.
Damn it, never mind. Because that would be cool.
Oh, I found the tweet. You sent it 9:20. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Gabe. I appreciate your help.
You're welcome.
So there is a streamer whose name I don't know. I don't even think his name was included in the tweet. But it is a I'm assuming a cis white male, who plays Grand Theft Auto and role plays in Grand Theft Auto, and he's a streamer. His character's name is Tyrone. Thank you for anyone watching. Gabe has posted the picture.
He's so white that it reflects the ghost. He's whiter than me.
He is. His character's name is Tyrone, and he has a bunch of character artwork of this black guy that he role plays as a caricature version of a gang member, and supposedly he makes thousands of dollars off of the situation. And then he has emotes, and all of his emotes are this, black character that he's role playing. How do you guys feel knowing that this is roleplay and knowing that this is Grand Theft Auto? Because I think that does make a very huge difference when you're role playing, like the subject, whatever. How do you guys feel about, I'm gonna say in this instance, white people role playing as black people and then, role playing them as gangsters? And it doesn't even have to be, just white people role playing as black people. How do you feel about people role playing another ethnicity but doing it in a stereotypical manner? Do you think that should be okay? Do you think it's okay to do for entertainment on Twitch?
I only will say one thing about this, because I really don't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole, but in Grand Theft Auto, every character is like a gangster. I don't know, I feel like that's just, if you're role-playing, it's pretty much you're a cop or you're a robber. That's the only role-play I've seen. I've seen people play as police officers or, criminals. That's the two roles that you have in the game. I don't really think that I would roleplay as a different race of character, or depending on what my character looked like, I wouldn't do anything overtly over the top of, stereotypes. First of all, I would never do roleplay, but it makes a lot of money on Twitch. A lot. And people are super into the GTA 5 roleplay. But like I said, it's you're a cop or you're a robber in the game. There's nothing really in between. The game Grand Theft Auto is about criminals. So I don't necessarily agree with what he's doing. I don't know. I don't even want to think about it. What does he sound like? What is he? Is it really bad? I don't even know. Would it be cringe? I'm just not sure.
Just seeing the artwork is kind of
cringe.
It? It's
God,
not good.
I don't even want to look. So I just, like I said, I would not do this.
I guess my question is, why couldn't you just do this and roleplay as a white character while doing it? Why did
That's
you
what I was
have
gonna
to?
say.
Why did you have to make your character a black character to do this roleplay? Why couldn't you just be the bad guy and be the white bad guy? I don't understand what your thought process was when you made this character black and then you decided to go forward with it. Why, sir? And then you're making so much money off of it. You're literally making money off of a stereotype of a black person, and you just gonna keep going with that shit. I can't stop you. Do what you want, I guess. But yeah, I just don't understand why. Because I do agree with you, Kelly. I think that Grand Theft Auto is a game that, it's a caricature of American lifestyle. That's what the game is. And yet you didn't have to do this. None of what he did was. It was all, I think, a very conscious decision. And going forward from that, it's kind of just why you couldn't just do the same thing you were doing as a white guy, sir?
I feel like he probably gets more viewership.
Oh, of course.
Like this.
Of course.
And I think that it was a marketing decision on his part. Because honestly, you don't just jump in. This is the deep end of roleplay. I think that he's done this before. And I think that he kind of felt out what kind of character would get him the most views. And this was probably what he came up with. I don't think that he just jumped into this first.
Yeah.
This seems like a build up,
Oh, for sure.
But I don't know. I don't know. Gabe, you've been to theater camp. What do you think?
Also, do you
All right,
think Twitch
first
should
of
do
all,
something about this as well? That's another question. Do you think that Twitch should do something about this, or is he?
To be honest,
free to do
the content that is on Twitch right now is so all over the place that you can literally have your entire ass cheeks out.
Yep.
So
I did
is
one
this
stream, okay? I'm sorry. I did one stream.
But like,
I'm
I don't
sorry.
know. No, it's funny. I don't even know what to say. Like, you can have ass cheeks out, whatever. What can't you do? They don't have any limits on what you could do on there now, except no nipples and no straight butthole. I don't know.
Didn't
'Cause
somebody
I
break
thought-
that rule?
I feel like a lot. Oh my god! Wait, yes, I've seen the pictures. Yeah,
You've seen the pictures.
I mean, yes. I didn't
Just
necessarily
flat out saw
seek them
someone's
out.
Chocolate starfish, just bright as day.
Oh my god.
I mean, totally live on Twitch. Yes. I didn't see it live. I saw it on Twitter later. But yes, everything. So, whole kitty, everything. So, that person got banned though, I'm pretty sure. Actually, they might have been reinstated because it was supposedly accidental. You know, like when you bend over and spread your ass live on Twitch. That's accidental. Anyways.
Ooh.
And episode 69 is coming up. I'm gonna shut the fuck up now about ass cheeks. The content on Twitch is all over the place right now, and they're not doing anything. I have no problem with most of it. I'm an adult. I don't give a shit. But, like, I think that, you know, some people are breaking the rules, and it's fine, and then other people aren't, or some people are doing, like, weird shit like this, like role-playing and being stereotypical. It's like, I don't know what they're enforcing anymore at all.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Their priorities are about changing the fucking color of text. So I'm just saying, I don't know. Expecting them to enforce something like this, they're like, oh no, it's harder than putting in pronouns, so we just can't. Like, alright. You do you.
Fair point. Thank you, Kelly. Fair enough.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Gabe.
I'm on Twitch a lot, so I'm in, like, streamer Twitter too, so I, like, have all the drama.
Clearly, if you're seeing buttholes all the time.
I saw a butthole. I did.
I was gonna say, first of all, in theater camp, we didn't do blackface, so no, I wouldn't
Thank
know
you.
anything about that. Oh, okay, and that just leads into my next point. So there was something I'm gonna say recently because I found out about this a couple of months ago. I found out, it's called digital blackface, which is exactly as it sounds. It's, yeah, that's the look I made first, so I looked it up, and it actually makes a lot of sense. So it's digital blackface is an example of where you are a fictional character playing as a black person, I guess. Or the other example someone else used for me, because this was that whole time when I tweeted out, for the love of God, please don't vote for Kanye West, like we did as a joke in 2016 for Harambe, and some of my Twitter mentions went fire. People were like, oh my gosh, so you're comparing Kanye West to a monkey.
Bruh.
I'm like, that's absolutely not what I'm doing.
Oh fuck! I remember that.
I do
But then
too.
there was this one. I'm pretty sure
Wait,
it was a
where's
troll
that
account.
tweet?
It's a
Don't.
long time ago.
Oh, don't.
Yeah,
okay.
like I think
So-
it was in October or
I
something. of
literally
last year.
read that and I was like, Gabe. And then I was like, you know what, never mind.
What?
This is not even something I want to deal with. And I didn't. So go ahead.
Hey, what do you mean, Gabe? Did I do something wrong?
Please continue.
Hey, did I do something wrong?
Finish what you were saying.
Okay, anyway, so, a lot of people understood what I was saying, and it was, don't vote as a fucking meme. But there was this one, I'm pretty sure it was a troll account. Can't tell because he actually had, followers. And he was like, he was going back and forth with me about comparing Kanye West to a monkey, and I'm like, that's not what I'm doing. I'm comparing the aspect of voting for Kanye West as a meme because you're not taking the election seriously. We went back and forth, whatever, and then and then he started touching, the thing of like, oh, you probably don't have any black friends, and then so my black friends came in and started helping me. I was like, hey, like, we know what he means. There's no to misinterpret this. You have to do it on purpose. And so then this other guy came in trying to help this guy out. And the other guy was like, yo, shut the fuck up. I didn't ask for your help. So they started going at each other. And I put, that there's a very, well-known, GIF that's used of, I can't remember the character's name, but he starts eating popcorn and he leans back. And the other guy comes back, he's like, oh, and now you're using digital blackface and you want me to believe that you're not racist? I'm like, what is digital blackface? He's like, oh, using black characters or something to use as media on your social media. So, That's right. I was explaining digital blackface. And I was like, is that a real term? Like, I didn't want to say anything without being infirmed, so I looked it up. And, on Google, you look, and that's basically digital blackface is if, like, you go through someone's profile, not black, and all they do is use, black characters in GIFs and pictures and videos and stuff. And looking through this tweet, there's a comment that says it's the digital blackface for me. So.
Oh.
All right. So what was the point? Like, what are you trying to say?
That was a ride.
Yeah,
and I don't mean that. I don't mean that in I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, like, what is your takeaway from this?
Oh, what my thing is, because I think this could be filed under,
yes, digital blackface.
Lack of a better term. No. I'm talking about in terms of Twitch. Like, because you asked, should Twitch do something about it? And I think, especially because this is something where he created a game that has thousands of customizable options. He created a black character, stereotypical, and he's making money off of it. So, feel like there should be something done about it. But then there's also the thing of, again, it's a video game where there's thousands of customizable options, and he's not outwardly doing anything racist, so there shouldn't be anything wrong with it. I personally think Twitch should do something about it, because, I don't know, I feel like, again, I'm going to keep bringing up the customizable options of GTA. It's not like you couldn't make a white dude and roleplay as him and have a bunch of ways to dress him up, because you can. Like my white dude, I have a white dude in GTA. He has my hair, his, curly afro hair. He has that type of hair. And then, I dress him up like a loser, like how I dress in real life. Like, I think at one point he had...
Are you saying that white dudes are losers? Because I agree.
Yeah, actually. He has my character at one point, he had overalls on and a cowboy hat and fucking sneakers. So
you're saying I'm a loser for dressing that way is what you're getting at.
You dress I like your shirt, bro.
You're wearing a floral... Yeah,
it's casual Friday.
You know it's not about you. You know it's not about you. Yeah, like, that's my whole thing. Like, he shouldn't be doing it. I feel like...
It feels deliberate. Like, it feels very deliberate.
Yeah.
I think it's just what the point is.
And again, it's like he's making money off of it, because he has emotes. He has emotes that are this character, and it's like...
Yeah, so you subscribe, and then you get this little black guy, and you can throw him in your chat now. Like...
Yeah.
And I also think, and the reason I said it, I think it's different because it's GTA, is because GTA is, a play on real life, right? So, like, you can roleplay whatever the fuck you want to roleplay, bro. I ain't gonna say shit, because I don't give a fuck what you do. You can roleplay whatever you want, right? But when you're roleplaying something that's so set in reality, and you're, like Sterling said, this seems very deliberate, and you're deliberately creating this situation, that then I think is completely fucked up. The fact that you are making, so much money, and you have these emotes, and you have all these subscribers, and you're using it to perpetuate stereotypes in a community that I am 100% sure is not, like, going like, oh no, yeah, he totally is just role-playing. Like, they're probably completely into this. They're probably thinking, how can we make this worse, right? I'm sure if I go into his Twitch chat, it's just going to be a bunch of racist fucking trolls who think what he's doing is fucking hilarious. And I think that goes back to the community that you foster, and then when you do kind of this shit like this, I think it kind of tells what kind of community you're fostering on Twitch. Sorry. Sorry.
Really good sound?
No. Sorry, I had other things to say, but I don't want to continue on to that because it's really late. Sterling or Brandon, did you have anything else to say on that before I poop this subject out? That was a horrible word choice.
Yeah.
Get rid of this subject, rather. Yeah, and I think thank you guys for weighing in, because I do think it's a very important conversation to have, especially because obviously I could say something and I'm going to say, well, this is horrible, but I'm black, so I think it goes back to what Sterling said. He is the white guy who is like, when I see that this is a problem, that's when it's an issue. When we were talking about Twitch, and I think that it's very important to get allies to speak their piece on diversity issues, because a lot of times when I'm saying it, you know, people are just gonna be like, oh my god, there goes Joel again. He hates everything. Like, oh no. But it's okay, because now I have backup, so fuck you guys. But not anyone who listens to this podcast. You guys are all fucking great, and continue to listen, and thank you.
Unless you're
Everyone
listening
calls me a
in a
crackhead.
hate way.
Then, yeah, don't do that. That's not nice. Okay, you got called the crackhead one time, and it was because you said some crackhead kind of shit.
Genuinely feel like I get called a crackhead with every episode that comes out.
You get called
I
a
don't care anymore.
crackhead?
He did say
So
some suspect shit.
it originated. It wasn't suspect. It's not my fault that Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is a better game than Animal Crossing.
See?
People were like, "You must be on crack."
That's what I was like. Well, yeah, I can see it. He might.
I
be.
dress
Wasn't there a crack thing on the Slack? You know what? That's a different thing. I'm not even going to go into that.
Yeah, and then it stuck with me, and now every time in general, every now and then, someone's gonna bring up crack, and it's like, Gabe.
I hope whoever sees this says I look like a crackhead, because I look like a dude who lived in Hollywood in the 60s
You
and
do.
like just sat around and did crack for fun.
Okay, I don't know about the crack bar. Like, you look like a cool dude from the 60s, and I'm here for it. I like your aesthetic. I like it. I
I'm
think
just
it's
like
cool.
gamer dad bod Hawaiian shirt.
I can see that. And not in a bad way. Oh my god, no, not like...
Alright, let's end it here.
I think this is a great place to end it. So we had a bunch of things that we didn't get to talk about, and I'm just going to go over things we didn't get to talk about so that you guys, listeners, can assume what you think we might say about them, and that includes... God, there was a lot. We didn't talk about the very strong results for Xbox and their game revenue going up by 50% year over year in the quarter. This was including the Bethesda numbers, because obviously they're now counting Bethesda with them. And also, hardware revenue was up 232% year over year thanks to the Xbox Series S and X demand. We also had... what else did we have? We didn't talk about Sony aggressively investing in its first-party studios over the next year, as well as creating more partnerships with third-party studios. That's
Cool.
over from IGN, you know, because we were talking about what they planned on doing and how they were getting rid of all their indies, so that would have been something interesting to talk about. Little Big Planet 1, 2, and 3 have all been offline for well over a month, and no one has explained why.
Damn.
And now we'll never know, because we didn't get to talk about it. Metopia now has a demo out, available. I know Brandon knows about
Yeah, I'm good.
Metopia.
Yeah, I'm good. I played the demo on 3DS. It wasn't for me.
Rip, the only person.
The
who
Mii's
knows about
are great. Like all
The Mii's are
characters-
great, and the customization in this version
so
seems to
good.
be much better. So I understood personally.
Rip.
Not for full price anyway.
That's what I saw. I've been seeing people like create the characters, and I'm like, this is
Yeah.
hilarious, but I would not pay $60 to make a.
It's 50, but it's still too much for
I
me.
wouldn't pay $10 to make a me. That's just, I'd make a free one on my 3DS. Something else we missed, which I thought was really cool. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but there was two legends celebrate the sense of cool with the Davidoff Cool Water New Champion Edition fragrances available now. We have some Street Fighter V fragrances for Chun-Li and Ryu. And I was gonna
Attack on Titan fragrances made the rounds when that anime first came out in Japan.
And I was gonna ask if you guys had any references for any weird like product placements, like fragrances from fighting games or anything.
Yeah, they
maybe
get
another
around.
time. Lost Souls aside, I saw the demo. It's coming to PS5 now. I was gonna ask if you guys had seen that one and what you felt about it.
I don't know what this game is. People love it. Seem to love it though.
And I was also going to, I don't think I posted it here, but I was also going to talk about the new Overwatch skin for Mei, which has her as an MMA fighter.
Cool.
With cornrows.
Nice.
Before Overwatch has any black women in the game at all. So that's been upsetting
Damn.
some people. Cool, nice, damn. like the gamut of responses.
One word responses, because better than nothing, I guess.
I mean, yeah, we all know how Brandon feels. I think that was gonna be it for me. I think Brandon had one thing that he wanted to talk about before we closed, right?
It was new replica impressions, but I can say that for next podcast.
Okie dokie. And then last thing I'm gonna do is Sterling. How was your experience here? Did we treat you nicely? Did you have a good time?
You came off pretty hot at the start, coming at my opinions on my articles, but man, this was a blast.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Got to, just duke it out, and Kelly mentioned buttholes, and it was a good time.
Yeah, we usually mention, like I said, we've been leading
Leading
up to episode 69. We've been like real raunchy. I don't know.
It's the buildup of a plot. There has to be a little bit of development each episode leading up to it. So the
we
big
gotta
finale.
like ease people
Sorry,
in.
not finale. The climax.
Okay, and so thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. So good.
If anyone would like to contact you, can you let us know how they might be able to do so?
I'm on Twitter at Silver Sterling.
With a 3 instead of an E.
With a 3 instead of an E. And I mean, that's pretty much it. If you guys have ever seen my content or watched my podcast and you want to come on, then you totally can. You guys too, like if any of you want to come be on Memory Card Memoirs, that would totally be dope, and I'd be down for that.
Yes, Memory Card Memoirs is available where?
iTunes, Spotify, and SoundCloud.
And it'll also be linked in the article for the episode that's coming out with this one, as well as his Twitter account. And you can also find his work at twinfinite.com/author/Sterling.
Yeah, you're doing a better job plugging me than I did.
I gotta plug my people because I appreciate you for coming on and talking to us, so thank you so much.
No, this is dope.
And as always, Kelly, Gabe, Brandon, thank you guys for talking to me for however long we've been having this ridiculous conversation and playing games with me and coming back every week. I can't wait for episode 69. And come back next week to see who we have. We're gonna have, a few more guests on because we love having stacked episodes. We're gonna see how many people we can fit into episode 69 and how raunchy it can get. But until then, we're gonna continue to talk wonderful video game conversations. You can obviously check us out at HPCrtiical.com. Check out all of our writing. Share, like, love, review the podcast. Love everybody. Be nice to everyone. All that good shit. HPCrtiical.com. Check out Gabe's playthroughs on YouTube, which are also linked. Check out Kelly's streams on Twitch, which are also linked. Check out Brandon's streams on HPCrtiical.com, which are also linked. HPCrtiical, twitch.tv/HPCrtiical, my bad. Everything's else also up on the YouTube. Once again, Sterling, thank you so much. It was great having you. You've been such a great sport hanging out with us. And thank you to the rest of my wonderful co-hosts. And with that, we'll see you guys later. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Let's go! HPCrtiical!